are, thank you for donating plasma. My body literally gave up on me. Receiving plasma treatments was, to me, hope. Now that I'm out of the wheelchair, I love going on walks, swimming. Those were some of the things I was told that I would never be able to do.
I have swells all up and down my arms or my legs, my hands. I could have an airway swell, and that's life-threatening. I haven't had any attacks in about 3 months since trying it. It's crazy because it was daily that I'd have these, and it's just gone.
Because of you, I can walk again.
Because of you, I feel amazing.
Giving equals living. Give plasma. Replenish the supply. Make an appointment to give today by visiting hhs.gov/giveplasma. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
We don't want you on our team.
You're not the right fit for this job.
You're too slow and fast.
Don't you care how you look?
Weight bias hurts. Go to stopweightbias.com. A public service message from Obesity Action Coalition.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Accounts subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It's a warm afternoon out there. High temperatures in the mid-80s under partly cloudy skies. Our humidity remains fairly low, so it's comfortable out there. 61 overnight tonight, and tomorrow's warm too, with highs in the mid-80s. But we'll see increasing clouds, and we could see some showers developing mid-afternoon through the evening commute, really all the way overnight into Thursday.
3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 345 points to 49,287.
He'll move it. 9 seconds left on the power play. Blake with it. Sent across. They score! A power play goal! And Nikolai Ehlers into the Philadelphia zone. Snap back. He scores! Oh, Seth Jarvis with a chance. Drifting in. Getting a shot free is Hall. Still loose. They score! They score! It's over! Carolina, Taylor Hall wins it in overtime!
With Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is a victory Tuesday. Carolina Hurricanes got the win last night. Every single win in this postseason is just going to be more and more and more hard fought. And that was true once again. But a win is a win is a win. It took overtime, and they are up 2-0 over Philly. Feels good. Now they're going to go on the road, right? Philly next game. They defended their home arena in dominant fashion, and then in maybe not the most dominant fashion. But again, 2-0. Is the series. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show, and we do have the Big 3 at 3 presented by Maynard Service Company coming up. Maynard Service Company, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Check them out online, maynardservices.com. But just to give you a heads up, we're doing the Big 3 at 3, just a tad different today. Let's fire it.
Number 1.
Freddie Anderson. We're going 3 stars for the Big 3 at 3 because if you win your 6th straight postseason game to open an NHL postseason run, just the seventh team since 2000 to do it, you get to own the entirety of the Big 3 at 3. So let's start with Freddie. Freddie Anderson has been, what hasn't been said about him yet, he's been really gosh darn good through 6 games this postseason. And I think what a way to articulate that may be he was so good yesterday, and darn near every statistic got worse on average for the postseason, right? His save percentage got worse. He lowered his average. His goals allowed worse on average, right? He had a .944 save percentage, gave up the 2 goals, and that ended up boosting his averages, right? Made him less good. .944 and 2 goals allowed in an overtime game, by the way, and a bunch of clutch saves, some really impressive saves in some really tough situations. Oh, by the way, he spent, I think it was about 2.5 days on a penalty kill. It felt like it, at least. Freddie Andersen has been one of the best, I was going to say goalies, I'll say players this postseason in the NHL. And
you're saying he's been the best goalie?
I was going to say one of the best goalies, but I switched it to players to make it so it would be accurate and not too safe, too conservative. One way to say that is also this: ESPN put out their Conn Smythe little who's in line for it. His name was listed first. Now it was in a group of 3 at the top with Quinn Hughes and Nathan McKinnon, but his name was listed first. Maybe it was just alphabetical amongst those 3, but hey, I'm counting it. His name was listed first. It's it's what goalies do, right? It bails you out when you make a mistake. When a goalie's playing really well, it allows you to keep your confidence after you make a mistake, right? You make a turnover, you get lost, you get beat, whatever it is. He makes the save, and it's no harm, no foul. Everybody gets to roll on. And he also did the goalie thing, which is you have to have amnesia, right? He gave up 2 goals in less than a minute, less than 45 seconds.
Now, they were like 42 seconds apart.
Pretty darn quick. And there's always that thought, whether you think you have the best goalie in the world or you have a unproven goalie or you don't like your goalie, when 2 goals go in like that, you get worried. You go, is this going to rattle him? Is this going to put him on tilt? Didn't give up another. And that was early on. That was in the first period. Didn't give up another. Freddie is every bit deserving here in the Big 3 at 3s. We name our 3 stars of inclusion and highlights. That's number 1. Let's get to number 2.
Number 2.
Nikolai Ehlers. And it was good to see. Nikolai Ehlers scored, first of all, the first goal of the game for the Carolina Hurricanes. Shout out to us here at 99.9 The Fan. Nobody had Nikolai Ehlers in the first goal score predictions. He could have easily in the first period had 3 points. He had the goal. He also set some of his guys up with, I don't want to say gotta have it opportunities, but you'd sure like to have it opportunities. Do you know, I'm always looking for a sports movie reference. Do you know what I'm calling Nikolai Ehlers? I'm calling him Benny the Jet for a few reasons. On the surface,
he's fast.
Yeah, he's fast. I mean, it works, right? Fly, jet, it all kind of makes sense there. Second reason, though, remember the scene in Sandlot where the new guy can't catch? So he says, just put your glove up in the air and I'll do the rest. And
Smalls.
Exactly. He's killing me. And he hits a line drive from the plate out to right field, and he puts it right in the glove. Occasionally, I get that vibe from Nikolai Ehlers, where he's like, just stand somewhere in front of the net, and he's hanging out behind the net. He's moving. He's stick handling. He's using his speed, and then a little backhand flip or just a little no look, and it's right on your stick in front of the net, and it's like, you just don't move. I'll do the rest. His calm, his poise, and then those seeing eye passes that seem like 3 or 4 defensemen all swipe at it, but it's just like 4 inches outside of their reach, and it ends up on someone's stick right on the tape in front of the net. He's Benny the Jet, Nikolai Ehlers, and he had a really, I think, one of his, if not his. Actually, I'll say it was his best postseason game for the Canes this year. I was going to say one of, but no, it's up there. one of his best games as a Cane, maybe handful when you include stakes. But it was a really good game for him, and you knew it early, and he was buzzing. And I wonder, and we're going to talk about this later. I wonder if how Ehlers was playing didn't contribute to Rod Brindamore and the coaching staff's decision to move Jarvis down to the Stahl Ehlers line, because it's like, I don't know, Ehlers is getting all these guys a lot of pretty darn good looks. It could be good for Jarvis to be on the receiving end of some of those.
Imagine that.
And then, of course, Jarvis scored. But it was a really good game for Ehlers, and I think it was good to see. If he wakes up and keeps creating like that, it'll make them much more difficult to play as the postseason goes on. That's number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
It's got to be Taylor Hall, right? You can't leave Taylor Hall. He scored the game winner in overtime. And also, not long before that, had a game-saving block, giving up his body to preserve the tie that he ended up breaking with the greasy goal that I think was a culmination of a lot for Taylor Hall. Getting that goal at that point is a sign of how bought in he is, and also a sign of all of the work he's willing to do. Because that line, first of all, awesome. Right, and again, was it 3 more points last night for Jackson Blake, Logan Stankoven, who didn't score? What the heck was that, Logan Stankoven? Joking. And Taylor Hall. Blake with 2 points, 2 assists, Hall with the goal. But that line's getting so much excitement and buzz and hype. I think we might overlook that Taylor Hall is taking on a lot physically on that line, because for as good as Logan Stankoven and Jackson Blake are, and as they play bigger than their size, they are 2 smaller forwards, right? And that means if they're getting some physicality, if they're getting that kind of extra oomph, it's all coming from Taylor Hall, and he's been more than willing to do that. He's been more than willing to take on those bumps and bruises. I actually think he's one of the better at sensing which of those 2 other guys has it going, and you'll see him actively like maybe pass up a shot or work an extra pass to get them to puck. He sacrifices some by being on that line, and so the fact that he gets to turn around and have a gritty, grimy, physical goal to win a postseason game in overtime, it just feels like an appropriate reward for somebody that's doing the gritty, grimy stuff on that line. And then Jackson Blake's doing pirouettes and ridiculous spin moves, and Logan Stankoven scoring so many of the goals. Taylor Hall gets the game winner. It was a culmination of a lot for Taylor Hall, and I was really, really excited to see it. I wish he could remember it, right? Because he said in the post game that when you score in overtime, your memory kind of lapses and it goes away. And matter of fact, we'll go ahead and let him tell you all about it. Here's Taylor Hall after the game. All right, it froze. Similar to his memory, but now it's unlocked. So here's Taylor Hall.
Yeah, I just watched it. I didn't realize that I fell down and then put it in. When you score in overtime, it seems like parts of your memory kind of go. So, that was it was a gritty goal. I didn't do a very good job of attacking tonight personally, and I got that puck, and I just wanted to get to the middle of the ice as much as I could, and got a shot off and got the rebound. And, that was an overtime goal for sure.
I love the idea of, like, can somebody tell me how I just had one of the coolest moments of my career? Please? What happened there?
What do you mean I fell down?
No, in my mind, I was standing tall, chest out, big, broad-shouldered goal. They're like, no, you were actually falling backwards. You were already down on all fours, and somehow you just kind of pushed it in the goal. Well, better in my memory. Just a really fun game. One of those games where about, I don't know, like 5 minutes into overtime, you might think to yourself, this is either going to be awesome or it's really going to stink. And I'm glad it was awesome, because if that game goes the other way, right? And there were opportunities in overtime. Like I said, Freddie saved him a bunch of times. If the Flyers win that game, there's a lot of moments you could point to go, oh, man, Canes could have done this. This player could have done that. They should have. They could have. They would have. You would have had a lot of that going on today. But instead, they bow their neck. They make the one more play. They win the game. And today, it's all celebrations about the 7th team since 2000 to start 6-0 in an NHL postseason run. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Big Three at 3, done just a little different today, but always presented by Maynor Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, MaynorServices.com, MAYNOR Services.com. Aside from those three, but obviously those three included, we look at the big picture. How did the Canes pull off the comeback against the Flyers? Next.
To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open a Wells Fargo Clear Access banking account. With no overdraft fees and tools to track spending, Harper's learning, one heavy metal tee at a time. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/deposit disclosures for fees and details.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier Factory Authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Jungle Cash Word Scratch-Offs and Digital Instance games are here.
2 ways to play.
Yeah. Play Scratch-Offs like you do.
Scratch it.
Play Digital Instance on your phone.
2 ways to win.
Right. 2 ways to find letters and complete words. 2 ways to win up to $150,000.
That's a lot of crackers.
Jungle Cash Word from the North Carolina Education Lottery. 2 ways to play, 2 ways to win instantly. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.79 to 3.90. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey hockey fans, it's Trip Tracy. If you're ready to upgrade your outdoor living space, look no further than TimberTech Decking and Railing. TimberTech is the #1 premium composite decking brand, and it's tough enough to handle anything. It looks just like real wood, but without the costly maintenance of a wood deck. It won't rot, warp, splinter, or peel, ever. And it's backed by industry-leading warranties, so your deck will last year after year. Connect with a local contractor or order free samples at TimberTech.com to see the TimberTech difference for yourself. TimberTech, everything wood should be.
Canes with a chance, drifting in, getting a shot free is Hall. Still loose, they score! They score! It's over! Carolina, Taylor Hall wins it in overtime!
Just a little of the energy from last night. Shout out, by the way, to the Caniacs that were in attendance. Atmosphere on fire. I'm not saying that Taylor Hall wouldn't have scored the goal to win the game if it didn't have the fans going wild, but I can't say for certain. Actually, sometimes one of the funniest aspects of the Lenovo Center when the Canes and the Canes fans are going as wild as they were last night is, and if you're going to be at, there's more games coming back to the Lenovo Center. Hopefully not in this series. But if you're going to be in attendance for one of the games, when the crowd is going as wild as possible, try to take like 10 seconds and just watch Freddie Anderson. Because it's just chaos. There's lights flashing. They have the new flashing lights that go up the aisles in the Lenovo Center. The music is pumping. You got the towels whipping. And if you just look at him, you would think he's in line at like the DMV or something. He's just like... And then obviously game plays, he locks in, and he's been making a bunch of great saves. But it's comical to see him just like heart rate on low. As everyone around him is losing their minds. Funny to me. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Last night was a different challenge for the Carolina Hurricanes than they faced so far in the preseason. In the postseason. Preseason too, but postseason more topical. They hadn't trailed in a game, not only in the postseason, but in the weeks leading up to the postseason. They were an exceptional team, and they had been on an exceptional run, and they had been exceptionally consistent. And because of that, they didn't have to test their ability to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. They didn't have to test themselves on their ability to stare a multi-goal lead from the wrong side and chase it down. They didn't have to test any of that through 5 games of the postseason and into the regular season. So last night, Flyers score a goal. Bummer. And I'm typing up a tweet about how the streak is over and something along the lines of, you knew it wasn't going to last forever. It's not like they were never going to trail ever again. So, okay, yeah, they're behind. And as soon as I hit send, I look up and they're scoring another, and now it's down 2-0. Well, guess what? It just became the story of the game. Down 2-0 in the first period, game 6 of the postseason for a team that's 5-0 and hadn't trailed by even 1 goal in the postseason. Now trails by 2, and it's early on. Well, they did what I believe is the mark of a potentially championship roster, and that is they didn't have their goods. That was not the best game we could have expected from the Canes. They didn't have their A game. I think they were trying hard. At times, I think they were trying too hard. Right? Loose puck. The 3 guys all Canes are bumping into each other as they all got there first. Right? It was pressing. It was tight. They were all over the place. In the second period, I couldn't decide whether it looked like the puck had been like greased up and it was slippery, or if they were playing with a puck that was like a training puck and it was actually like 3 times the weight of what a puck should be. But there were very few like smooth first touches, right? There was a lot of fumbling. There was a lot of bobbling. There were a lot of passes that are normally leading the player and just are behind. There were just a lot of not clean. Not bad, but it wasn't clean.
Puck never sat flat.
Exactly. Just it was always, I don't know, it was like hitting ramps and things. It was just not the best, yet they came away with a win anyway. Right? Yet the Ehlers goal was great, and obviously, you hoped it would be a spark, but it was a long grind. Down 2-1 until you got the Jarvis goal, what felt like a day and a half later. It was a long grind, and you continued. Speaking of not clean, continued to put yourself on the penalty kill. Over and over and over again. What was it? 3 by Svetch himself. 8 penalties total, 7 power plays, I believe is what the total was.
Yep.
That's putting yourself in a really difficult situation, and it's not letting you find any kind of a rhythm. It got to the point where, because the Canes were nearly getting as many power plays as they were given, and there was a point in time where I was like, I don't even know if you want a power play here. I think you just want to be able to get into a little bit of an extended period of play where you can catch a groove. Yet you walked away with the win. That's, to use the cliches, that's winning ugly. To use the cliches, that's finding a way to win. And you use every tool in your tool bag. You try everything you got. I think it was a meaningful decision and a good decision that they shook up the lines a little bit, right? Moved Seth Jarvis and flipped him with Martinook, which the game was so crazy and there were so many special teams. I think it took like 2 or 3 rotations for everybody to go like, oh, that wasn't just a weird shift. Oh, that wasn't just they got caught during an icing. That was actually they switched it, and then Jarvis ends up scoring. That's a really good move. Rod Brindamore talked after the game about the switch up of forwards. Here's what he had to say. We'll work on
there
it is.
Well, you got it. Jeff Daniels, who helps me with the forward group, does such a good job, and he's just like, okay, it's time. He just kind of says time, And literally the first shift we did it. That's what happened. So I got to give him all the credit there for, tapping me and saying, okay, look, we waited long enough and paid dividends. Doesn't always work that way, but did tonight.
Paid dividends. Doesn't always work that way, but it did tonight. I think that's an important part. Doesn't always work that way. Because it doesn't, right? Sometimes Rod Brindamore gets some guff from the fans. Rod Blendamore, right? All of those things. It doesn't always work. But in a game like that, what'd you have to lose? Right? Might as well see it through. Ended up working out for you. I really, really respect teams that can very obviously not be having a good day, right? Just everything's a little bit more labored, a little bit more difficult, and still find a way to win. Still beat a good team, right? And a team that had a lead and a team that was playing with a ton of energy. Still win because, like I said, in a lot of ways, that's the mark of a potentially championship roster. And I don't want to harp on it because we talked about it so much yesterday on the show, but I think that's a sign of the experience as well.
19 guys in that room that have played together in the postseason before. Before this season.
And have seen 2-goal leads in both directions disintegrate quickly. So there wasn't a lot of panic. Maybe a little bit, but there wasn't a lot of panic.
They didn't show it.
There's just some, I think pressing might be a better word than panic.
Yeah.
Some like, I'm going to make the play that gets us back in. No, I am, which is much better than, oh gosh, I don't want the puck. I don't want to make the play. Like, it's better to have more people wanting it. But yeah, panic was the wrong word there. But the moment got to them, but they settled back down and ended up scoring the necessary goals. It was a really, really mentally strong day for them.
You talk about the Seth Jarvis goal. You could feel it. You could see it on his face. You can see it in the locker room talking to him post-game. I feel like it was a piano lifted off that dude's shoulders. Just a sense of, like, I finally got one here. Because you tell, like, he obviously wants to contribute.
Oh, yeah.
I think obviously he had a great pass on the Logan Stankoven goal, the second Stankoven goal from Game 1. But to finally find the back of the net, and in such a meaningful way as well, like, they needed that one. And for him to come up in that moment, I think, was big for him. You can kind of feel like, all right, I got this, guys. I'm good. Don't worry about me.
And on top of that, like, the Canes do a great job, and this is like program-wide, for acknowledging the ways that you can impact a game, you can contribute other than scoring and point production, right? They love a defensive forward. They love blocking shots. They love forechecks. They highlight those more than a lot of teams. But when you are a team's leading scorer, when you one of the things you do is you score goals and you have 3 straight 30-goal seasons and you're that guy. Part of your identity and part of how you know how I help is I score goals. And when you're not doing that, even if you're doing all of those other things and you're a net positive and you're setting the tone or whatever, you still feel a bit incomplete until you're doing kind of your top line of your duties, your responsibilities. So Seth Jarvis scoring, I'm sure there was oh good, I'm still me. Which, by the way, and I said it before the show, 5 games. It's the longest goalless streak he's had in the regular season, and he continued. He did not set a new high for the season because he started the playoffs with 5 goalless games, and he broke it on the 6th. He now has 3 streaks in the regular and postseason of 5 games without a goal, and none any longer than that.
Reset the clock.
Exactly. Reset. And I said this as well. They tend to come in streaks for some of these guys.
Yeah.
Ehlers especially.
Yeah.
Look for Ehlers in Game 3. Look for Ehlers in Game 3, I'll tell you that much. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, and we do have 2 minutes of gold, more about that game and our Dean's List. But before we get to any of that, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
That's right, I do. Dennis Cox here, real quick, my friends over at Law Tigers. I'm sure you probably heard me speak about it before, but I'm going to emphasize this again. As a motorcycle rider, when you're out there on the road, make sure you have an escape. You never know when that vehicle in front of you is going to hit the brakes hard. Someone's just going to try and swerve. They're not paying attention. Have an escape. It actually happened to me earlier today. I was actually on my way in to the station earlier this morning. Sure enough, the car in front of me decided to just hit the brakes. hit the brakes hard. I'm not entirely sure why. But I had my escape, and I was able to make a quick move. Knew I didn't have any vehicle to the side of me. I was able to make a quick move and avoid disaster. You never know when that situation is going to pop up. So make sure that you're paying attention and that you have that escape route. But if you are injured in a motorcycle accident, make sure you contact Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you contact the insurance company. Your case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. So give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll hear from Adam Gold, 2 minutes of gold, and get to our Dean's List coming up next.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like customer service associate at a dry cleaning shop.
Yeah, hi. I'm here to pick up my suit.
Ah, yes. Here you go.
There must be a mistake. This is too small.
It shrunk a whole lot. Look on the bright side. Now you have a suit you can gift to a child.
This is your job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Myth: everyone's drinking. Fact: more students are choosing not to drink alcohol than people realize. And it might not always feel that way, but a lot of students are making choices to stay focused, stay safe, and stay in control. And that takes confidence, because leadership is about knowing your limits and being okay standing by them. Real friends respect that, back each other up, and look out for one another. Make a plan, trust your choice, and don't be afraid to speak up. Talk it out, NC, because not everyone's drinking, and it's okay to choose differently.
Learn more at talkitoutnc.org.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Accounts subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. My favorite place to go in the Triangle for the best wings on the planet. How about this special? Every Monday, half-priced wings all day. Dine-in only. Now that's a deal, baby. Everything on the menu is amazing. Pizza, apps, and always great drink specials. Visit any of their 5 Triangle locations and their pet-friendly patio, too. Online, buffbrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Miller gets it to Stahl. He'll feed Ehlers. Ehlers into the Philadelphia zone. Snap back, he scores! Oh, Seth Jarvis comes in and makes it happen! And the Carolina Hurricanes have tied it at 2!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Canes are up 2-0. I just like saying it. Canes are up 2-0 over Philly. Although, if you argue that 7-game series don't start till someone wins on the road, hasn't even gotten started yet, because the Canes defended their home Lenovo Center in the first 2 games. They'll be going to Philly Thursday. By the way, I failed to mention this earlier, and I should have. Alexander Nikishin has been cleared.
Yes, he has.
He's missed the first 2 games of the series. He was in concussion protocol. Had the last few objectives, hurdles, whatever you want to call them, to clear before being cleared. Rod Brindamore told the media today Alexander Nikishin is cleared, so I would expect him to be in the lineup for Game 3 on the road in Philly. And just because I feel like it's necessary, I also want to give a shout out to Mike Riley for being on the ice in Games 1 and Game 2, being ready when his number was called for the unavailable Alexander Nikishin and doing a really good job. Perhaps that'll come up. I don't know. I haven't heard it yet. In our 2 minutes of gold, all about last night's overtime win by the Carolina Hurricanes, and of course, featuring our very own Adam Gold.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I got 2 minutes for 3 players and 3 huge plays that helped Carolina take a 2-0 lead in their series with the Philadelphia Flyers. Heading back up to Philly, and it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers. They will help you get good rest faster and with the care you deserve. Look, we could talk about Nick Ehlers getting on the scoreboard for the first time, or Seth Jarvis and a big game-tying goal in the third period. But there are 3 players that really made the difference in Carolina's 3-2 overtime win. And we're going to start in net with Frederik Andersen. 2-1 score right here, and it should have been 3-1 Philly, but for Andersen.
Now sent it cross, and Andersen got it clubbed to it. Still is it Frederik Andersen. Oh, what an athletic save. Lunging with the glove, and he'll hang on.
That's Anderson's best save of the series. Might have gotten some help from the post, I'm not sure. Moving with purpose from right to left.
Incredible save. Glove, pad, post, out. Carolina stays just 1 goal down. Then, after Jarvis does his magic and gets Carolina even, we are in overtime, and Keandre Miller doing work.
Philadelphia in the slot. That shot's deflected away. Miller got a piece, lost his stick. Philly keeping it in. 3 Flyers in front of the net. They can't connect on a pass. Aho will get to it and find a seam and clear it.
What more can Keandre Miller do? Game-saving block. We play on.
I cannot stress enough how good Miller's playoff has been. He has been spectacular throughout. He's also got a bunch of assists as well. And all that did was give Taylor Hall a chance to be a hero.
Canes with a chance, drifting in, getting a shot free is Hall. Still loose, they score! They score! It's over! Carolina, Taylor Hall wins it in overtime!
On this particular play, Sean Walker does a lot of heavy lifting. He carries the puck in, finds Hall, and then goes right to the front of the net to create more space for Hall. Jackson Blake keeps the puck alive, and Hall taps it in. And there you go. Hurricanes lead 2-0. They didn't play great, but you know what? They won the game, and they are 2 wins away from the 3rd round of the playoffs. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health. I need sound sleep after another overtime game. We got to stop that. Visit parkwaysleep.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you very much to Adam Gold for 2 minutes of gold. They are 2 wins away from advancing. They are 10 wins away from the ultimate goal. 6 down, 10 to go. Sounds good, doesn't it? I love the numbers. They're swaying. 6 down, 10 to go. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. To briefly move on from the Canes win last night, let's talk a little college sports with the Dean's List. Dean's List, where we highlight those directly or indirectly related to the college sports world that we hold so near and dear here in the Triangle. Last I checked, this is going to be an update on a Dean's Lister from, I think it was last week. Today is the NCHSAA Board of Directors spring meeting. Last I checked, it was before they debated boys volleyball, so I'm not sure where that stands as far as being sanctioned as a sport for the next school year. But the Flag Football Committee is officially recommending the sanctioning of girls flag football for the 2026-2027 school year. The president of the board of directors, Dr. Stephen Gainey, says they will vote on the sanctioning of girls flag football tomorrow. Get it sanctioned and go get those scholarships, young ladies. Kind of cool. We're seeing like the birth of a sport that I think is going to be really, really big.
Oh, it's growing like crazy.
It's growing, and I think colleges have been looking for a sport that could offer a bunch of scholarships for girls to match up with football for boys because of Title IX. You have to do some equal things. I think the flag football on the girls' side becoming a bigger and bigger sport is going to quickly make its way to colleges across the country. So go get those scholarships.
Let's go.
Learn to throw a spiral, 3-step drop, and the other positions too. But let's be real. It's about the quarterbacks around here.
And learn to backpedal.
Yeah. Catch, backpedal, pull flags. do the dip thing that you see the flag footballers do where they like drop into a catcher stance because it makes you miss the
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Flag football is actually kind of a strange sport to watch, but I think it's going to be big. More Dean's List. How about NC State football relative to the Triangle? ESPN put out a list of total off seasons, coaching moves, recruiting, transfer portal. They totaled it all up for football. Ranked everybody in the ACC. NC State, relative to the Triangle, first in the ACC, 10th. That's not great. Duke 12th, UNC 15th. Keep in mind there are 17 teams in the ACC. So I guess, like I said, relative to the Triangle, State makes the Dean's List according to ESPN. Relative to the ACC, I don't know if any of them are getting the nod. Dennis, do you have any Dean's Listers you would like to throw onto the list?
I do, actually. I'm going to throw UNC basketball. I'm going to throw Duke basketball. I'm going to throw NC State basketball. All here on the Dean's List.
A lot of basketball.
So the top 50 college basketball teams by average home attendance. Okay. All right, this past season, 2025-2026. UNC, in terms of just number of people, 19,499. That was their average attendance for home games. That was second in the country.
That's a lot.
Second in the country, only behind Kentucky, who was at 19,731. I throw NC State also because NC State overall, again, this is attendance, not capacity, but just total people. NC State 8th overall on the list, 16,341. Now, I'm throwing Duke on this list as well because, now granted, Duke, their number in terms of total people at a game on average was 9,314. That's 43rd in terms, again, total attendance. But that average capacity is 100%.
Yeah.
It's 100% every single time.
That makes sense.
So there you go.
And their fans for shelling out their hard-earned dollars to go support. I mean, that is awesome. That is also expected. We're in the mecca of college basketball right here. Pardon the SEC, it just means more.
It does. By the way, also just throw the ACC in there for basketball. ACC in terms of just total attendance, again, not capacity, but just total number. Mm-hmm. 4 of the top 10. UNC was number 2. 6 on that list was Syracuse. 8th, NC State. 10th, Louisville.
All right. Syracuse being up there makes me think it's just if you have the biggest buildings.
Well, that helps.
Yeah.
Because their capacity was not very high in terms of percentage. But
they play in a...
Hey, but the number of people are there.
Hey, that's true. That's true.
You can spin it any way you want, Tim.
I played my middle school football games in the University of Hawaii Stadium where the Pro Bowl was played.
Yeah.
Do you know what a 60-something thousand seat stadium looks like with about 150 parents? That's what we were playing in front of. We had a lot of empty chairs staring at us. Jumbotron working. I'm like, who is craning their neck all the way up to look at that thing? Shout out Aloha Stadium. It's gone now. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9. The Fan. That is the Dean's List. And speaking of my time all the way out there in Hawaii, real estate's pretty expensive out there. So if you're looking for maybe your dream house, maybe a second home, if you're looking for a mortgage, Miller Lending. Tim Donnelly here from Miller Lending. Miller Lending can offer something called a no-cost loan. They've been doing it for decades. Gordon Miller's been doing it for a very long time, and then since they've been established here in the Triangle, locally owned, by the way, Miller Lending's been doing it since, I believe, the late 80s. Miller Lending, no-cost loan is very simple. You don't pay all the closing costs and fees that you are used to and conditioned to thinking are a necessity when you close on a mortgage. It's not wrapped up in anything. It's not just named something different. A no-cost loan is just that. So go ahead and give them a call. Ask the questions. Let them explain it to you. What it also does, by the way, is it sets you up to be more agile in your refis. If rates drop, don't feel like, I just paid all those closing costs. I don't want to do that again. Because it's no-cost loan, right? If rates drop, go ahead, lock in that lower monthly payment. No cost, no fees. Again, give them a call, locally owned. You'll be talking to someone right here in the Triangle and ask the questions to see if it's something that could help you out. The number to call, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377, or visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 2502146. We'll take a break. When we come back, a special off-season edition of The Podium, bringing it back 1 week only. Stick around.
If you think you or someone close to you is having a stroke, we have 2 words for you. Be fast. B for balance, E for eyes, F is in face, A for arms, S for speech, T for time to call 911. Look for changes in balance, vision, or speech, weakness in one arm, a drooping face. Learn the signs at wakemed.org/stroke, because every second counts.
TST is coming back. The world's biggest 7v7 soccer festival is coming back to WakeMed Soccer Park in Cary, May 27th through June 1st. Watch stars like Landon Donovan, Hope Solo, and Chad Ochocinco compete for $3 million. With over 150 matches, the fan festival zone, and nonstop action, there's nothing else like it. Get tickets now for the world's most electrifying soccer festival at tst7v7.com.
Lowe's has the brands pros trust to get the job done. You can now shop new Catalyst fencing solutions and save big when you do. 10% off when you buy in bulk. Plus, save $180 on a DeWalt 12-inch dual bevel sliding compound miter saw. Now just $449. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/6 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
It's bow time. There's something special about the first bite of a Bojangles Cajun filet biscuit. Like an edible alarm clock that slaps you awake with bold Cajun flavor. The moment you sink your teeth into that soft, fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit, then strike gold with a juicy piece of fried chicken, you'll know. Nothing beats the first bite. Except the second first bite. Get a Cajun filet biscuit combo today at Bojangles. It's bow time.
Bojangles is now hiring crew and management positions. Apply in person at select Triangle area Bojangles during the spring hiring day, Thursday, May 7th from noon until 6 p.m. For participating locations and more information, visit bojanglesrdu.com/hiring day. Bojangles offers flexible schedules and competitive wages. Be part of a winning team. Start a career with Bojangles. It's bow time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we get to a off-season version of The Podium, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube, everybody. Please check us out. We do live streams. This show live streamed right now and every day. There's podcasts, there's clips, videos, shorts, the whole deal. And also all of our social medias. I know that we've been asking some questions that have drummed up some debate. Things like, is it acceptable to wear Whalers gear to a Canes playoff game to support the Canes? Fervent opinions on both sides of the subject. And there's more like that coming down if you want to interact and then continue to build the community that we are building online with the intent of all of us, discussing and going back and forth on our favorite teams. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Having said that, can we please fire up the podium? I need my dramatic music. I need to walk in like I'm in the opening ceremonies because I dream of the day, which is becoming less and less likely by the day, that I get to compete in the Olympic Games. The way we're doing this, right? Traditionally, the podium happens during football and basketball season, and it's about results on the floor and who's winning, who's losing, who's showing well in their games. But for today, we're looking men's basketball transfer portal because it's been busy. There's been a lot of moving pieces, and as fans of sport, I think a lot of times you don't need to know all the details, right? You don't need to know Oh, was that 6'7" guy a 3 or a 4-star transfer? Oh, where is he coming from? What were his stats? What you want to know is my team winning or losing against its rivals? So what we have here is a podium. Off the podium, bronze, silver, gold. That is about the totality of the portal thus far. It's not over, but we're looking at it thus far. Both ins and outs, right? Players you lost in the portal and players you have gained commitments from out of the portal. And we will start with off the podium. And if you're watching on YouTube, you already have a little teaser on what the order is going to be. If not, stick with me. Off the podium is Wake Forest. It's a really tough spot that Wake Forest has found themselves in. I don't know if they have the funding, the money, as far as rev share and NIL collectives and everything, to really compete at the upper levels of the ACC. Steve Forbes and that coaching staff are going to have to do a lot of finding diamonds in the rough, polishing them up really quickly, and having them ready to go on a run. But losing Juke Harris is tough. Right, reportedly around a $5 million player to Tennessee. Losing Miles Colvin is tough. He goes to Cincinnati, or is committed to Cincinnati. Those are, if you watch the highlights of this past year for Wake, those two guys are a lot of them. They did bring a couple of guys, Kavere Kennedy, Jamari McDowell, out of the portal in their direction. Both guards, both have upside, but compared to Harris and Colvin, I don't know if it's really there. So they're in a tough spot with resources, and it showed. Bronze medal, NC State. Now, losing a coach in the manner in which they lost a coach is going to set you back, right? When Justin Gainey took over, it's not like the cupboards were full. There was a lot of Will Wade left. And even the players Will Wade chose last year. That might have been our first sign that Will Wade wasn't planning on being at State for a long time. He brought in a lot of guys that had 1 year of eligibility. So they're gone already, but that's not included here. Matt Abel going to Carolina. If he sticks in the college sports world and doesn't go pro, he is committed to Carolina. That one hurts. I think he was one of the bigger bright spots on State this past year, his potential. And then also losing Cole Clower, who hadn't even yet played for NC State, but technically in the portal going to Alabama, that one hurts a bit as well. They've done a good job at building a full picture of a team in the transfer portal. Christian Hammond, guard from Santa Clara. Kyle Evans, the big man, led the country in blocks last year at UC Irvine. Preston Edmeade from Hofstra. They're part of a 1-2 punch there with Hofstra. That was impressive this year. Darius Adams, Yalaho from Washington State. Keene, who's the analytics darling who doesn't score darn near at all, from Boise State. They're building a full team. I still think there's a few things on the old wish list. But, Justin Gainey is doing what he can do in his first year to start from scratch and keep everybody around. And I don't even know, do we count Paul McNeil Jr. in this? Because he would be the crown jewel.
I mean, you guess you technically got him from the transfer portal.
But you also then lost him to the transfer.
I mean, that's true. So, it's a net zero.
It's net zero.
It's a net zero.
Because it was a really bad loss when he hit the portal, but it was a really good gain when he came back out of the portal towards State. So, do the math on that however you want to. Next up, we have North Carolina. They have a big three that I think is really good out of the portal. And maybe the issue would be they're all kind of seen as combo guards. You have Avdalas, the big guard from Virginia Tech. You have Terrence Brown, the volume scoring guard from Utah. And you have Matt Abel, the full of potential future pro out of NC State. That's a really good big three out of the portal. A bit maybe role overlap, but really good big three. The place that they lose the gold in this exercise is in their departures. Derek Dixon to Arizona, Luka Bogovac to Oklahoma State, Jonathan Powell to Pitt. That's a big three of on the way outs as well. And we still have to wait and see if Matt Abel stays and goes pro or not, right? He's going through the process. There was one more I wanted to mention. Oh, Cade Bennerman is a interesting name out of the portal. He redshirted this past year at Northwestern, and he's not seen as a super highly ranked transfer, but do you know what he is? 7 feet tall. And this offseason, I've referenced it a bunch of times. Height, you can't teach it, right? The height, everybody wants it. You want as much depth as possible. It's almost like you should add half a star or something of your recruiting ranking if you're 6'11" or taller. And he is that. So I'm curious to see what they do with that long term, his abilities long term. And then, it's not as voluminous a class, but Duke gets the gold. Although I will throw a precaution on here as well. John Blackwell, their crown jewel out of the transfer portal from Wisconsin, if he elects to maybe go pro and skip over his time in Durham, this will get shuffled up in a big way. He is carrying a lot of the weight out of the transfer portal for Duke. Depending where you look, I mean, he's a top 3 transfer, 3 kind of being the lowest. He is the top guard transfer on most recruiting sites. They added Drew Charnowski out of Belmont, and then a guard out of Loyola, Maryland over the weekend. Charnowski is a big-time athlete, 6'9", maybe not the touch and perimeter player that you'd expect, 43% from the free throw line this past year. And then they lost Nick Hemania to UConn, which has to give you a little bit of worry. And then Darren Harris, they lost to Indiana. Again, that's a program with some cash to spend. It is funny. You get more nervous about your transfers when other really good schools take them, don't you? If I'm Duke and Hemania goes in the portal and I'm like, okay, he saw the writing on the wall. Maybe there weren't a lot of minutes for him. You talk yourself into that deal. And if he goes to, Boston College, I throw a lot of shade at Boston College. If he goes to Boston College,
and they catch strays,
yeah, then they're far away. It's an ACC team that's a long way away.
It's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
right.
But if he goes to Boston College, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, the writing was on the wall. He wanted to go have a bigger role. He goes to UConn, it's like, whoa.
Yeah. Wait a second.
Did we miss something here? It's like when the Canes want your defenseman in a trade, you should go, are we not using him right? Is there something we're not doing here? It's kind of like that. So Hemania, Harris, they're losses. I just don't know if Duke's going to miss them as much as they'll be excited about John Blackwell. He's one of the better transfers on the market anywhere in the country. So there you go. There's a little ACC transfer portal bit of news, bit of podium here on The Drive. I love that music, by the way. You just have some cross-country runner holding a flag and all the stars behind with their camcorders. That's what I think of when I think of walking into the Olympic whatever ceremonies, that's the word. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We will take a quick break, but when we come back, football at 4. We talk pigskin coming up.
Life's great stories are built on yes and. Yes to the big game and the private suite. Yes to the beach and sailing offshore. Yes to traveling the country and exploring new ones. With the new Millionaire for Life from the North Carolina Education Lottery, you can say yes to $1 million now and every year for a lifetime. Millionaire for Life. Winning is just the beginning. Drawing 7 days a week. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 8.47. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. All right, let's paint the scenario here. I need windows, but man, I don't have 3 hours to go through the process of deciding what I need, when I need it. Can you help at the Aluminum Company?
Absolutely. So first of all, when we come out to your house to look at your windows, typical window appointment may last 45 minutes, an hour. We're certainly not going to make a 4 or 5 hour commitment to talk about windows. We're there to help.
Serve dinner last time.
Right. Listen, my wife always says, I talk to my wife all the time. We have salespeople, whatever we're doing. And my wife, I tell her all the time, I can't stand salespeople. And she laughs. She's like, you are a salesperson. I'm like, well, the difference is I'm just having a conversation trying to help people get what they want. I'm not there to pressure you. You're just there to help you get in and out. And it's a pretty quick appointment. It's pretty efficient. So we're there to help you and make it quick.
I can vouch for that. The Aluminum Company of North Carolina, online at aluminumcompany.com.
Step between the lines when you download the High School OT mobile app presented by State Employees Credit Union. It's easier than ever to find the coverage you want for the sports and schools you cheer for the loudest. Receive up-to-minute alerts, scores, videos, insider content, and the latest high school sports news across the state of North Carolina. Available now on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the High School OT mobile app presented by State Employees Credit Union.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It's a warm one out there. High temperatures in the mid-80s, under partly cloudy skies, a little breezy, southwest wind gusting up to 25 miles per hour. Low 60s overnight tonight and mainly clear, but we'll see the skies clouding up tomorrow. A high of 84, mid to late afternoon showers that will last overnight and into Thursday.
4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 342 points to 49,284. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
Football at 4 here on the drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. It's time to talk Panthers. Carolina Panthers, that is. And it's time to talk about if there is anything that they maybe ignored or didn't adequately solve or didn't address appropriately this offseason. Because when a season ends, there's a lot of like, let's rate the roster. This position of strength, this position of weakness, this guy's aging out, this guy needs to be replaced. But at that point in time, there's the endless amount of solutions. This is what they need to get in free agency. This is what they need to get in the draft. This right? You don't have a problem at the beginning of the offseason. You have a riddle. Okay, you have this much resource, this much, group of tools that you have to fix things, and here are your problems. How can you mesh them together and finish your roster? Once you get past the draft, it maybe is no longer a riddle. It becomes just a flaw that you have to try to hide. So the question, and that we posed to ourselves earlier today for Football at 4 is, what's the biggest weakness still on the roster? And I'll even take it a step further and say, like, if the additions do what they're supposed to do, right? If you assume you're getting a high leverage, if you assume you're getting a top version of like a Devin Lloyd and Monroe Freeling, right? Some of the true headliners of the acquisitions of the offseason. What still needs to be fixed? And then follow-up, right? Reporter, and I'd also have a follow-up as soon as you're done with that one. Follow-up question is, can it be fixed? Or is this just something that you're going to be, going through the entire season thinking, all right, we got to hide this. All right, we got to make it so it doesn't hurt us too bad. I'll tell you what I think the biggest weakness is for the Carolina Panthers. I think it's running back right now. I think it's running back. Which is crazy. And might be good news, and I'll tell you why in a second. I think they've put a lot of eggs in the basket of Jonathan Brooks not only being healthy, but being healthy and not having any negative effects of 2.5 years without football. Chuba Hubbard is, at his best, a really solid back. 2 years ago, 1,100-something yards, workhorse style, did a lot of good things. Last year, he was not that. Last year, some of the parts that held him back, even in that bigger season the year before, remained, and the durability and the grinding and the workhorse and the ability to take a bunch of carries per game, that was gone. So if you take the workhorse back and remove the workhorse nature, you kind of just have an unexplosive back. And now you don't have the Rico Dowdle of it to be there and be like, hey, if you get hurt for 2 months, you'll have a guy that'll step in and play really well, unless that's Jonathan Brooks, which is back to where we started with this guy hasn't played football in a long time, and if you assume he's healthy, there still might be some rust. It's not like he was a proven NFL back when he started getting hurt. He was still in college when he started getting hurt.
I mean, there's just the day-to-day aspect of your body,
Yes.
just everything that your body has to endure during the course of a season. He has to get himself back into that, and it's not going to happen overnight.
The irony of somebody going through multiple ACL rehabs and you have to get used to the day-to-day grind on your body, because ACL rehabs, the day-to-day is brutal. And I've never experienced it. Hopefully I never will, but I've seen people go through it. It wears on you mentally, but it is a completely different daily grind, wears on you mentally, than the grind that comes with being healthy and putting your body through what an NFL running back puts their body through and being able to be effective each and every week. Here's a stat that came across my timeline yesterday. It has to do with explosive runs. Okay, an explosive run is 15 or more yards, according to this stat, fantasy points data. There were 49 what they called qualifying running backs, which means they had at least 100 attempts last year, 100 carries. Of the 49, Chuba Hubbard had the fewest 15 or more yards rushing carries, and that number would be 0. He had none. Now, that is something we've known about Chuba Hubbard. Don't get me I've said it a bunch, right? He's going to give you 7, 4, 7. He's not going to have the 40-yard run very often, but he's going to be that workhorse. Last year was the year where the workhorse kind of went away, right? He wasn't able to be the true every down, depend on him week in and week out, always effective guy.
I know he had that quad injury that slowed him down, and he missed a couple of games with it as well, so he was slowed down by that early in the year. He had a couple strong games late.
He did, a little bit more, and there was the one 18 carry, 19 carry where him and Rico Dowdle were right there splitting carries. It wasn't all bad, but I want to emphasize this. I believe the Carolina Panthers want to start their offense and probably finish their offense running the ball. They want that to be their alpha and omega. They want the passing game to work off of the running game. So even if and it would be a appropriate rebuttal if I'm sitting here talking bad about Chuba Hubbard or being a bit critical of him, for you to go, yeah, but he was hurt last year. And I would go, okay, if he gets a little bumped and bruised, then that's what you're dealing with. Running backs get bumps and bruises. Right? It's not a running back, but I call it the Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's a really good quarterback. But as soon as he is questionable on the injury report, he goes from a really good quarterback to a mediocre at best quarterback. And most seasons, you're going to be questionable on the scouting report if you're a guy that carries the ball a lot for a while. So, it's a skill to be able to play with some bruises or a strain or something and find a way to still be effective. Chuba had been able to do that until this past year. Now, if Chuba's your number one, I'm fine with that. Right? And you're paying him a good amount of money, so I'm fine with that. I wish they would have added a little bit more depth, just somebody that's a little bit more proven than Jonathan Brooks or Trevor Etienne, or Achane, a.k.a. formerly known as Trevor Etienne. Now, here's the good news, right? Because I said that the question is, what do you think is the biggest weakness? The follow-up is, and is it fixable? The good news is I do think it is fixable. I think running backs, they don't grow on trees, but they've been so devalued in the league that you can almost always find one. You can almost, whether it's a trade, whether it's finding somebody off the street, like an old veteran that's just looking for their opportunity, waiting for their situation. I think you can find running backs that can be effective enough between now and training camp, or even into training camp. How about this for an idea? And I know it's a guy that's been a little banged up in things, but what do you think like a Trey Benson would cost in a trade from Arizona? Because they just drafted Jeremiah Love, and they want to get their new toy, and Algiers there, and Connor's there, and they've got a bunch of running backs.
Yeah.
And what is Arizona saving up for, right? They don't need 1,000 running backs. Like, could you call and offer him something scrubby? Maybe. Right? Or, again, you can go find some running backs off the street. The beauty of the running backs being devalued is – well, you don't have to value them, right? You can go get one on the cheap when you absolutely need one, and I think that's a possibility.
I mean, that's what A.J. Dillon was this offseason.
Yep.
That's exactly what that is.
And A.J. Dillon, I'm glad you brought him up because I had failed to mention him yet. A.J. Dillon, to me, is a lotto ticket. You need a very specific version of A.J. Dillon if you want to depend on him at all. And it's not one we've seen recently. You need 2021 to 2022 A.J. Dillon, which I know seems like yesterday. We're in 2026. 2022 can't be that long ago. Oh, it is. It is. Right? We need, like, this high school graduating class, we need the version of A.J. Dillon they saw in 8th grade if you want to depend on A.J. Dillon. Whether injury, opportunity, he's another guy who saw some of his explosiveness go away where his average yards per carry tumbled. And then over the last 2 years, you're really not looking at much production at all.
Didn't even play in 2024 because of injury and only played in 7 games last year.
And not a ton of carries.
Had 12.
So A.J. Dillon joining the group, that's fine. And I assume it's cheap. And by the way, completely embraced Charlotte and the state of North Carolina. He's out there. I guess he does all the hobbies online. He's like Pokemon and sports cards and everything. His like the videos that pop up, he's trying to find his teammates. He's looking for like I don't even know what they're called, the refractor one of one auto Bryce Young card, and he's on like a hunt and he's making it a thing and he's opened the packs. Like he's embraced it. I like Chuba Hubbard. Right, I think Chuba Hubbard culturally has been really good for the Carolina Panthers from a work standpoint, and you hear Dan Morgan and Dave Canales talking about how they hope everybody emulates Chuba Hubbard. There's a lot of that, but you also need to make sure that even if Chuba's a little banged up, you have somebody that can go get you a first on 2nd and 4, so you don't catch yourself in 3rd and long after a TFL. And as much as we all hope that Jonathan Brooks is what they drafted him to be, they drafted him to be that a long time ago. A long time ago. He's same recruiting or same draft class as Leggett. Am I doing the math on that right on air?
For who?
Jonathan Brooks.
Yes, he was.
Think about all the ups and downs that Leggett has gone through, and Jonathan Brooks has been hurt the whole time.
Yep. Because it was Leggett was 1st round, 2nd round was Jonathan Brooks, 3rd round pick was Trevin Wallace.
So he's been around a while and has not been playing football, and he didn't finish his season at Texas the year before. So I like him. I hope it works. I'm not sure if I would bank a season on it working for Jonathan Brooks. So this is one of those, we talked about it yesterday. I would explore every single option if I were Dan Morgan. I'd be calling every team in the league and just going, what's your price on fill in the blank running back that I'm interested in towards the end of your depth chart? And I'd be calling agents going, is so-and-so still in shape? Just to make sure I know every option I have at the running back position. And actually, I go ahead.
I would say there are guys out there like Joe Mixon's out there, Najee Harris is out there, Antonio Gibson's out there, Raheem Mostert. I mean, there's guys, Jeremy McNichols. I mean, if you want to bring in, like you said, a guy off the street, there's guys
possible.
Out there.
It's possible, for sure. And I also want to just make one more thing clear. I'm not saying this is a negative to the front office. If I have enough resources for 9 solutions and I have 10 problems on my roster, running back would be near the top of the list of the things I'd look at and go, I'll figure out that one later, right? If you can get me a starting left tackle in the 1st round, if you can get me a contributing wide receiver in the 3rd, if you can get me if you do all of those things, I'll figure out running back. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it still has to be dealt with a little bit here. You need more depth at that position. I think you might miss Rico, not because Rico was some world beater, but because he was just another body that you could trust to play that position at a high level and provide a little pop. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Maynard Service Company. You know what you could think of for Maynard Service Company? They are like the ultimate family member off the street, right? We all love it when something breaks and you have like a cousin that specializes in fixing that, right? Because you just give them a call, they come over, boom, 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 it's all fixed. Think of Maynard Service Company the same way. Your heating system breaks, your cooling system goes down, you have a plumbing issue, goodness, you don't like those, or anything going on with your electrical work in your house, and you just call Maynard Service Company. They're like the family that just happens to be an absolute expert and super highly trained in exactly the thing you need fixed. Middle of the night? Yeah, sure. They'll come over. It's an emergency. Oh, will they treat your house with respect? Of course. They're going to leave it better, cleaner than they found it, and they're going to be personable and enjoyable the entire time. Maynard Service Company. Give them a call. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, no matter what it is, they'll help you out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all across the triangle. The number to call, 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993, or visit them online at MaynardServices.com. MAYNOR services.com. Coming up next, we have a Canes Cup check-in, talking about the postseason run for Carolina, and Copper Drop. Don't go anywhere.
I don't care what you got, just give it up. One goal.
Nikishin, Ehlers, shoots on the power play.
Verdeen wide open, rebound, and what a save by Anderson.
Hoist Lord Stanley's Cup.
Sebastian Aho in, short hit back in, scores! Oh, talk to me, shorty! Carolina!
The Triangle's official home for the Carolina Hurricanes. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
Jungle Cashword Scratch-Offs and Digital Instance games are here.
2 ways to play.
Yeah. Play Scratch-Offs like you do.
Scratch it.
Play Digital Instance on your phone.
2 ways to win.
Right. 2 ways to find letters and complete words. 2 ways to win up to $150,000.
That's a lot of crackers.
Jungle Cashword from the North Carolina Education Lottery. 2 ways to play, 2 ways to win instantly. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.79 to 3.90. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%, and most people are only making the minimum payment, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. But here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone with zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Rich Eisen here. PayPal is now the official peer-to-peer payments sponsor of the NFL, which means all the money moments that fandom creates, whether splitting tailgate costs or chipping in on tickets and game day food between friends, are covered. Wherever the game is played or watched, PayPal moves with fans. You can send money through text, email, or directly to your friends with eligible accounts on Venmo. Just download the PayPal app and share all the moments that matter. Account with PayPal is required. Not available in all regions where PayPal operates.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The Carolina Hurricanes lead the Philadelphia Flyers 2-0 in their second-round postseason series. These series, by the way, You can hear every game right here on 99.9 The Fan. It continues tomorrow. Sorry, Thursday. A little bit later, right? I just want it to be here so soon. Although you don't want to rush through it because if this series gets over a little quick, it could be a long break before the Eastern Conference Finals.
It's weird to think that the Canes are up 2-0 and the other Eastern series doesn't start until tonight.
Yeah, which, I mean, you'd rather have two birds in the hand, right? You'd rather have the wins, but also it could set you up for a very long time off between series, if especially if the other goes 6 or 7 games. So we'll wait and see. But I can tell you, Thursday, 8 p.m., next game. It'll be in Philly, and you can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan. You can hear it, all of it, right here on 99.9 The Fan. That includes Stormwatch, Aftermath, the game. It's the only place you can hear Mike Maniscalco and Trip Tracy, although they are putting little clips out, little booth cams and everything on social media. You can hear the entirety of the broadcast, all of the games through their eyes, right here on The Fan. You can also tune in during shows like this one for reactions, insight, and much more into those games, including Carolina Ale House sponsored Cup check-ins. The Carolina Ale House is the sponsor and the official watch party location for all Canes playoff games. They have indoor/outdoor. I love the indoor/outdoor parties that will take place at the Cary location for games 3 and 4 and game 6 if necessary, with Stormy, the Storm Squad, and games shown on a movie screen-sized outdoor TV. So you can get the closest thing to being there.
That sounds awesome.
It does. And I know if you're like my 5-year-old, Stormy's a celebrity. So he'll be there as well with the Storm Squad and everything. It's at Carolina Ale House. All of the ale houses are a great spot. All the Carolina ale houses across the triangle, great spot to watch a game. The Cary location specifically is the watch party, indoor outdoors with Stormy and the big screen and everything else. All right, now that that's been said, they are the official sponsor of the 99.9 The Fan Cup Check-In. Today's Cup Check-In is Mike Commodore, former Carolina Hurricanes defenseman, and he checked in with Adam Gold from here at 99.9 The Fan. Here's that combo.
I thought it was a good game. I thought it was a little bit, there were a lot of penalties.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, tons, which is, it's hard the game I thought was a little bit choppy, but when you got a game like that where there's so many penalties, it messes up, guys don't get into the flow of the games, and some guys are playing more than maybe they would be, or playing more minutes early, or what. It just kind of, you can't get everything rolling. So
right.
Yeah, I thought, and delay a game penalties and too many men and, just penalties that, you don't really want to be taken. But at the end of the day, it all worked out. I thought both goalies were good. I took some notes for you, Adam.
All right, I like that.
Yeah, right. I didn't want to come on here and sound like an idiot. My notes are, now don't get your expectations too high. I said both goalies were really good.
Yeah, very good.
Too many penalties. I already touched on that. Kane's PK, very good. Couturier, I thought, was really good for Philadelphia.
Dynamite.
He played good, yeah. And he's taken a little bit of a chop in minutes and looked at a different role. He looked really good tonight, I thought. Robinson, boy, he'd like to have a couple of those chances. And I think did he get 2 breakaways in the first period?
No, in the second period.
Okay.
It was Jarvis shorthanded, forced his way down the ice. They hooked him down, but he got the puck over to Robinson, who was stopped by Vladar. Then Freddie Anderson with a go route in football. Robinson behind the defense.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
but another good save.
Ray Ferraro on TV said that it was. I saw for sure 2 real. He's a 4th line guy. He plays a decent amount for sure, but. Yeah, I'm sure he'd like to have a couple of those back because I think he had 3 or 4 grade A's then.
Yeah.
And I said, Jarvis was good. You were talking about the line switch up there, which I'm sure is good for him because his first goal of the playoffs. And then my boy's kid, my old college teammate's kid, Blaker, Jackson Blake, looks like a player. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
He's come along real nicely, which is, I know it's really fun for his dad, and I'm sure it's very fun for him. So, he looks great.
He has been a dynamite player. It's been a long time. That line has been good really all year, and now that they are just piling up points between Hall, Stankoven off the score sheet tonight for the first time, not only in the playoffs, but he had like 7 straight games with a point toward the end of the season. He's been ridiculously good. But the three of them, what Taylor Hall has meant for those two players.
Sure.
And I think them before him, too. That line has been Carolina's best.
Yeah, it'd be a shot in the arm for Taylor, obviously. Now all of a sudden he's been around for 15 years now, something like that. In the neighborhood. Yeah, I mean, I played against him, so it's been a while. So, it'll be a shot in the arm for him, and I'm sure those two are pumped. And, we'll put a little stank on it. I like that guy. And I heard about him in juniors. Because he played out in Kamloops, I think it was. He was out in the dub, pretty sure. Yeah, Kamloops. And then in Dallas, and somebody told me, they're like, man, watch out for this guy. Like, he's not very big, but he works and he gets things done. So I've kind of paid attention. And then with that whole kind of ranting thing, and when they traded him on, I know it's really easy for me to say this now, but I said it when it happened. I'm like, I thought the Canes did a great job with the situation. And hey, if Rantanen doesn't want to be there, get rid of him. And I thought the return was pretty good, and that Stankoven was a pretty big part of it. And I'm like, that's a pretty good pickup. And some people kind of laughed at me. They're like, hey, he's too small. I'm like, man, I don't know. I mean, it's not like you got size is nice, and size, in the play. But I was going to say in the playoff, size is nice as time goes on. But obviously he's off to a great start, and he doesn't look out of place or like he's getting shoved around at all. So, hopefully he keeps it going. Hopefully that whole line keeps it going.
Once again, that is the Canes Cup Check-In, the 99.9 The Fan Cup Check-In, sponsored by Carolina Ale House. Go ahead and check them out for games 3 and 4. The Cary location will have a big party, inside, outside, big screen, movie-sized screen to watch the game. Stormy will be kicking around, or any of the Carolina Ale Houses, just for a great spot to watch any game. Carolina Ale House, we appreciate them, and Mike Commodore for joining and taking notes. You know it's serious when you take the notes to talk about the game. The Drive of Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Cup Check-In. Now it is time for Cop or Drop.
You want true enlightenment? Well, I'm dropping.
All right, what are we copping or dropping, or both, Dennis?
All right, Tim, cop or drop? We see Brandon Bussey at least one game in the next 2, either game 3 or game 4 in Philadelphia. Cop or drop?
It's tough because before the series, Rod Brindamore said, it's the plan to see 2 goalies. But then he said, but that was the plan in the first series also. And, you get the feeling if Freddie stays this on fire, you're not going to take him out. So, and with the acknowledgement of what we said earlier, which is if you take care of this series in, 4 or 5, maybe even 6 games, you could be staring at a long break just based on the scheduling with the other Eastern Conference series. You may think you can get Freddie rested up if you just get through this series, right? So it might not be as imperative to be like, oh, we can, if we play him this game with the rest on each side, he actually gets 5 days off, or you start doing that math. It might not be as imperative to do. So, I still think you see Bussey, but I'm putting it at like a 55%. So it's a cop, but it's not a confident cop. I'm lowercase, all lowercase letters across the board. I'm copping.
I mean, depending on what game 3 looks like, let's say the Canes win, but let's say it's another overtime game. I mean,
you just might not want to put that. Yeah,
you're up 3-0. All right, put in Bussey.
Yeah, it could easily be that as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big if, taking care of business on Thursday, but I completely agree that. But here's what the crazy thing is. I'm having deja vu. We had this exact same conversation after Game 3 of the first series. Going, I put Bussey in. You get him. And Rod might look at it and go, no, if we take care of business now, we get a week and a half off. Like, Freddie's got the hot hand.
Yeah.
So, again, it's a lowercase. I'm copping. I'm whispering. Copping. 55%.
All right, next one here. Cop or drop? We'll come back to Carolina Hurricanes here in just a moment. But cop or drop? Let's actually shift focus over to college basketball.
Okay.
Cop or drop? John Blackwell, Duke commit out of the transfer portal from Wisconsin, or Matt Abel, UNC commit out of the transfer portal coming out of NC State. Cop or drop that one of those two guys stays in the NBA draft? Cop or drop?
One, but it doesn't have to be both.
Doesn't have to be both. At least one of those two guys actually stays in the NBA draft. Cop or drop?
Yeah, I'm going to cop.
Okay. Who stays?
I made clear I would not have to answer that question. Let me talk it out, though. Let me show you
sure.
There's two things about NIL and players coming back to school. One of them is guys that maybe were going to be late firsts, maybe mid firsts. They get a nice NIL deal. They value the college experience. They want to stay in school, right? We've talked about this, like Braden Mullins from UConn. We've talked about this, Dame Sarr from Duke. Huff, is that his name? Huff, the big guy from Florida. I think they all could have been first-round picks, but they're all going back to school. So I think many would say that's a good side effect of the NIL transfer portal world is guys can stay if they want. They aren't forced if they want to change their lives financially and their families' lives financially to go pro. Another side effect is maybe you were going to be a borderline late first, second round pick. Now you have 3, 4, 5 guys projected to go above you that are staying in college. Suddenly you're no longer like, hey, 30 to 35, you're 24 to 28. And you're like, oh, if I can be a first, I'm going to leave. So, I would not be surprised if either Blackwell or Abel kind of light up the combine. I think Blackwell, with his shooting and with his skill, can impress. And I think Matt Abel might test through the roof on some of the physical stuff that people get really excited about. Height, wingspan, speed, jumping ability. So then you look around and you go, those guys are staying. I might be able to sneak in. Maybe that's what happens there. So basically, I think they're both really good players for different reasons. And if you gave me one or the other, I'm taking the two, right? If you made me pick one, I think I would have dropped it. I don't think either is above 50%, but I think both of them combined would be above 50%. If you make me pick one, I'm probably going Blackwell. Obviously at Duke, your goals become different than they were at Wisconsin team-wise, winning national championship, ACC championship, all of that. But he's accomplished a lot in college already. He was pretty darn good at Wisconsin last year. So he might not feel as much unfinished business as some other guys that are flirting with the NBA draft.
I think I'm with you on that one. If he lights it up at the combine, I think right now Matt Abel is projected as a second-round pick, but also sometimes you hear in the NBA draft guys are like promise, like, hey, if you're at us and when we pick at 27 or something like that, then we're going to draft you. It's like, all right, it's kind of hard to go back on that.
It's a lot of money. It's different money. And, it's the NBA. I love college basketball. I loved my college athletics experience more than anything. If you're a basketball player and the NBA is saying we want you to be a first-round pick, it takes a mighty, mighty large amount of self-control to say, no, I need another year of seasoning. I need another year of this. I want to work with this coach. It's can be done, but it's tough.
All right, let's actually go to the gridiron here. Next, cop or drop. We talked about running backs for the Carolina Panthers a little bit ago. Jonathan Brooks, a name that you brought up. Cop or drop, Jonathan Brooks carries the ball at least 100 times this season. Cop or drop?
It's,
again, this whole season, 17 games, 100 carries. Looking at about roughly 8. Maybe not even that.
I feel like I'm being real cynical here. My gut instinct is no.
It's basically 6 carries a game.
Gosh, it seems so little.
I know.
But until he stays healthy, what if that's 8 games and it's 12 carries? If you're like 8.5 games. So I don't think he gets to 12 carries a game. So he's got to play 14 to make it make sense. That's a lot of games for a guy that hasn't ever. I mean, maybe in high school if his team went on a long state championship run, he might have never played 14 games, because Texas wasn't the best. I'm dropping. I hope I'm wrong. I'm dropping. It's bad luck, but 2 knee injuries. I know that they say he should be able to participate fully in all of the offseason stuff, but I would imagine they ease him into it. I don't think he's going to get 10 carries in week 1. So with an on-ramp and then, built in a little bit of missed time, suddenly it's like that 6 carries per game becomes like 10. And that's more difficult to get.
So you're dropping it.
I'm dropping. Reluctantly.
Okay. Reluctantly. All right, let's go back to the ice. Cop or drop the ageless wonder of Taylor Hall. Which, by the way, he's only 34. Younger than me.
Yeah.
But
younger than me.
Cop or drop, Taylor Hall finishes this postseason leading the Canes in points. Cop or drop?
Well, he's already got a lead.
He does. He's got 9 points right now. Jackson Blake has 8. Logan Stankoven 7. You never know who gets hot, though. There's a lot of hockey left.
One of those guys could get hot, and he could get even more.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm copping. I think Taylor Hall's. Let's have a bigger Taylor Hall conversation. You can cut the music. Should I get really dramatic with this?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. You're into movies, but you don't watch trailers, right?
I avoid trailers from movies that I know I'm probably going to watch. Yes, I genuinely avoid.
Even if it's
that.
a story you already obviously know.
Yeah.
Okay. So Christopher Nolan's next movie is The Odyssey.
Yeah, I know it. I'm 100% going to watch it. I don't need to see a trailer.
Okay, the trailer.
I avoid it.
Trailer came out last night.
Nope.
And I watched it. I'm a big fan of The Odyssey. I'm a big fan of a lot of the actors. Big fan of Christopher Nolan. So I'm going to watch it. I will, out of respect to Dennis now, I will stop talking about the movie The Odyssey and just talk about the Homer epic written story, The Odyssey. Taylor Hall's got, I had last night the trailer came out. He scores the game-winning goal. The Odyssey, right? Ulysses / Odysseus. He just wants to make it home, right? And he has to go through all of these little side quests, and he has all of these stops, some short, some long, on different islands, and he faces different opponents, and he's got to overcome things, and he's this king, and everybody has high expectations for him, and at times he doesn't live up to those expectations that he and others set for himself. I'm getting Taylor Hall vibes. Right? Everything from the long stint of Edmonton, number 1 overall pick, the expectations that come with it, the MVP, the time in Jersey, Boston. There's shorter stints in Chicago and Buffalo and Arizona, and he's all over the place. He's these little side quests, and the whole time he was just looking for somewhere that felt like home. And as I'm having this thought, as I'm having this kind of comparison, this was last night, driving home, a little bit of traffic. I remembered he was on this show right after the trade deadline last year, because right after the trade deadline, he signed a 3-year contract extension with Carolina, and it was right after all the Mikko Rantanen stuff, and he gave us a quote that I want to read to you. Again, it had to do with Mikko, but I don't think it looking back, it's like, I don't think that had as much to do with Mikko as we thought. Taylor Hall right here on this show. Nothing against Mikko, but we needed guys that wanted to be here, and we needed guys that were fully bought into the way that we play. When the trade deadline passed, we kind of took off. That was last season. In May, actually. So it was almost a year ago exactly. It was May 1st of last year. Oh, and Dennis, I didn't tell Dennis we were doing this, and he pulled up the soundbite already. Dennis, good job on that one. Go ahead and hit play.
The Mikko stuff was a bit. I think you saw that we went on a winning streak after that was all done. Nothing against Mikko, but we needed guys that wanted to be here, and we needed guys that were fully bought into the way that we play, and it's a balanced forward group. Obviously, we have some studs in Jarvie and Aho and Svetch, but everyone plays a role, and you don't see a lot of guys playing 22, 23, 25 minutes during the regular season. Everyone's bought into what we do, and I think when that was all done with, when the trade deadline had passed, we kind of took off, and that was fun to see, and I think going forward, this is the group that we're going to have, and that's a great thing.
So again, at the moment, it felt very like subtweety of Mikko. Looking back, look at the line he's found his success with. Right? This year, he's been great with two guys that could have signed bridge deals, two guys that could have asked for 4-year deals. Right? They're in their young 20s. They might have wanted another bite at the apple at 27, 28 years old. But Jackson Blake and Logan Stankoven signed for the 8 years. You can't even, you're not even allowed to sign for that long anymore. They wanted to be in Carolina, and he's right there along with them. And they're having an unreal run through the postseason and previous. Just an unreal run through this season. And it's like, oh, yeah, the Mikko conversation, the Mikko Rantanen conversation was what it was. Taylor Hall, he'd been, on a boat, stopping on islands, conquering monsters, which, by the way, most times he's traded, I believe the team that acquired him had a better run of the trade, saw the trade better than whoever traded him away, including Chicago. But that was a whole side note. It's there's something to be said for the guy who had all of the expectations, who had everything on him that was seen as, you got to go in and everyone is going to build around you. And he fits in really well as the member of something bigger than himself. I went and looked it up. When it comes to point shares, there's only one player in his draft class with more point shares. That's Sagan. It's Taylor Hall as a first-round pick has kind of worked. It's just been a really awkward way to get there. His resurgent season that I believe he's having this year, I think it's like he's reminding a lot of people of some of the things that he can do. It's been really fun to watch. And he deserves moments like the ones he had last night. Right? He deserved to be scoring goals that wins postseason games. He's already, Dennis, you brought this up, through 5 games, he had set a new postseason career high in points. He was the first pick in the 2010 NHL entry draft. That's a long time ago. It was a couple of months after he joined the Canes. How many times did he say we in that clip we played for you? Right? It was we. It was the way we do things. It was we need to buy in. We. He was a Cane from the moment he got here. And now he's kind of like maybe the keeper of the culture on that line, passing it along to the young guys, passing along tricks of the trade, little pearls of wisdom. I don't think it is, as you all know, hopefully, because I say it enough, I'm not superstitious. I don't believe in all the planet of the alignments and all that kind of stuff, or alignment of the planets and all that kind of stuff. But if you look at the 2 overtime games that they've played this year, Martinook scored the game winner and Taylor Hall scored the game winner. Right? It wasn't one of the young 20-something whippersnappers out there with their newfangled puck handling and all this highlight stuff. It was Jordan Martinook, the heart and soul of the team, and Taylor Hall, who I believe has wanted to be a place that he could be a part of the heart and soul for a while. Wanted to put down some roots. And those were the guys that came through with the goals to win the overtimes. I don't think it's completely coincidence. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Coming up next, after that all very mushy-gushy, hockey, how can you not be romantic about hockey talk? Let's call it the national media for some absolute negligence. Stick around.
Need more Stanley Cup chatter, Canes fans? Listen afternoons with Adam Gold in the Drive for our Cup check-in, served up by Carolina Ale House. We talk with hockey's best, past and present, bringing you the latest insight on the chase for Lord Stanley's Cup. It's the Cup check-in on 99.9 The Fan, served up by Carolina Ale House. Come to Carolina Ale House for the official Carolina Hurricanes viewing parties throughout the playoffs. Visit CarolinaAleHouse.com/Canes to see the schedule.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Myth. If I drink, it only affects me. Fact. It affects more than you. Your reaction time, your safety, and everyone counting on you. Game's over, and it's time to head home. Someone says, I'm good, only had a couple. Now, it's on you. Stay quiet or speak up, because one bad decision affects everyone in that car. Real teammates step in. They protect each other. Make a plan. Speak up. Talk it out and see, because real teammates look out for each other.
Learn more at talkitoutnc.org.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and nearly 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. Left untreated, these veins can cause tired, heavy legs, swelling, burning, cramping, aching, even restless leg syndrome. In some cases, it can lead to serious health risks like blood clots. USA Vein Clinics offers minimally invasive treatments that take as little as 15 minutes, covered by most insurances. Call 984-207-6220 and schedule your appointment today. Don't wait. Call 984-207-6220 for free information today. Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 984-207-6220 for fast, easy, and affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinics treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 984-207-6220.
Hi, Flo here to say that Progressive knows that life can change quickly, so it's good to have flexible coverage.
Oh, like when I have to take my ex off my policy.
Oh, sorry. But yes, we can do that.
And can you send them a message and tell them that they have trust issues that they need to work on?
We don't really get in the middle of these conflicts.
Also, can you let them know that I was faking interest in his band and it's probably time to grow up?
I'm not going to do it. Just know that with Progressive, you can easily make changes to your auto insurance because we know life changes.
Also, I'm staying in touch with his mom because she's absolutely lovely.
Bad idea.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So for the most part, I would say somewhere in the 97% range, I think I'm able to keep a relatively level head. And if a national media member says something or if they mispronounce a name, I'm able to laugh it off. That was, what was it, after game one, I was watching a national sports television show where they talked about the multiple goals from Stankoven. It was just off enough that I was like, ha ha ha. But it was, again, I keep my cool, right? Hey, everybody, I'm sure I mispronounce names. I make mistakes, right? So I'm not going to be in my glass house throwing stones. But then there's that 3% and usually it's the weirdest things that set me off, where I get very frustrated. And usually when I feel like somebody or an entity isn't doing their job. So there was after the Canes game last night, there was, by the way, wasn't the only NHL game last night. After the multiple NHL games last night that were on ESPN, there There was this viral post that got aggregated by a bunch of different accounts that said ESPN's Instagram account hasn't said anything about hockey tonight. And first few times I saw it, I just kind of laughed it off. Like, oh, we're getting mad about Instagrams. Oh, we're getting mad. The NBA playoffs are on, and there are certain business decisions that would make sense if they were showing LeBron more than Taylor Hall, right? Like there's certain magnets of attention that okay. And then somebody added a screenshot of like the grid of ESPN's Instagram account with their last like 9 posts, and I saw a kid face painted at a WWE event, and I saw 4 different posts about the Met Gala. The Met Gala, the fashion, the Anna Wintour, you have to pay $100,000 for a seat, and you get to go have the privilege to wear the most ridiculous costumes that you could possibly imagine, and they're all worth entirely too much money. ESPN's Instagram account posted 4 from the Met Gala. And I went, well, okay, hold on. I was willing to laugh it off if you were promoting like LeBron James. I'm not. You have a responsibility to the broadcast partners that you have. You are airing NHL postseason hockey. You have a responsibility to your broadcast partners to promote the things that you are putting on your air, at least more than a Met Gala, which you have no connection to. And then I got rolling, right? Because there's really only 2 things a broadcast partner has to do. 1, air the games. 2, make people want to watch the games. Like that's the agreement, right? 1, air the games. 2, make it so people want to watch the game, so the partnership will thrive and everybody can make money and everybody can be happy and the brand will grow. There's one way to make people watch games if they're not already diehard fans. Okay? If you're a diehard Canes fan or Flyers fan, you were going to watch that game, and it didn't matter what happened. You didn't need an Instagram post to convince you. You didn't need a caption. You didn't need a YouTube video. You were going to watch. For everybody else, there's one thing that'll make them watch. Stories. Storytelling. You got to make people know the players. You got to make people understand the stories. And that's where things like social media come into play. You have to know, I'm looking at right now on the screen here in the studio, there's Matt Stafford. I know the story about his wife battling a brain tumor. I know how many kids he has. I know that it's multiples. I know that he's, the friends that he's had along the way. I know where he was drafted. I've seen him mic'd up. The NHL would really like it if ESPN could tell some of that. The NHL and hockey fans everywhere would really like to know that Rod Brind'Amour played for Philly and he's coaching against Philly. And Eric Tulsky got his start in hockey writing for a blog about the Philadelphia Flyers. And Gostisbehere and Deloria and all of these connections, and that's just the hockey of it. What about what we were talking about before the break? What about Taylor Hall being a number 1 overall pick on his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th team and finding success and a game winner? You can't tell a story with that. Overtime postseason game winner. If you go to ESPN's Instagram right now, you can find, a viral clip from a girl that was sitting next to LeBron James years ago, a old video of a college baseball player that made out of athletic tape and Powerade cups a fake pitching radar gun that he was holding up to the opposing team's pitcher, and then he wrote slow in a Sharpie. They have that. Yet they aired 2 postseason NHL games, one of them a 2-goal comeback that came in overtime from the number 1 seed in the East, not a mention. The last, how far back do we have to go to get to a hockey mention of any kind? They pay a lot of money to air the games. They're not doing their job. It's crazy. And then there's the other thing about the national, because now that got me really frustrated because I'm going, then people are going to turn around and say, nobody wants to watch hockey. And I'm going like, well, no. Yeah, fine. The casual fans probably didn't even know anything about it because you were too busy telling stories about the Met Gala or WNBA players being waived. Again, WNBA, they should promote that. It's their product. Go do it. Go nuts. Do good business. But, hey, a former 14th pick in the WNBA was waived, or a former number 1 overall pick in the NHL on his 7th team scored a game winner in overtime. What are we doing here? And then that got me rolling. Then the national media is doing national media things. And I'm not the only one that sees it, luckily. Dennis brought up that in our YouTube live stream comments, there's a comment that plays right into this. So, Dennis, what do you got?
That's right. This one comes from Craig W. on our YouTube live chat. We were just doing Copper Drop just a little bit ago. Craig says, hey, Dennis, Copper Drop. When we win the Cup, national media will give it an asterisk because no Florida Panthers in the playoffs. I was like, Cop?
You know what? First of all, Cop, yes.
Yes.
But my favorite part is the retroactive changes where everybody and nearly unanimously said Ottawa is going to give Carolina all they can handle, and Ottawa is this surprisingly good team, and they've been this, that, and the other since the Olympic break, and a bunch of people picked Ottawa to win. Canes mowed them down. Now they're up 2-0 on Philly, and what are you starting to see? Oh, the Canes got a cakewalk to the Eastern Conference Finals again. How can you think that Ottawa was going to give them everything they could handle or beat Carolina and then turn around and say that they have a cakewalk to the Eastern Conference Finals? It's not a cakewalk if you think the other team's good and they make it look like a cakewalk. If they beat another good team and made it look easy, that's not that doesn't change what the other team was. It just changes how you misevaluated the Carolina Hurricanes.
It's just people moving the goalpost.
Moving the goalposts and like changing them into a soccer goal. It's not even like they're moving it. They're like, hey, it's goalposts, and as soon as you kick it through the uprights, they're going, sorry, you had to kick it into the net underneath. It's a completely different sport. The beauty of it all is, the cliches like banners hang forever are wildly true. And the further you get into the future and you're looking back, people forget all of that nonsense. And it's just, you won a cup or you won a championship or you won the game. But in the immediate, if they don't like it, I don't even know why. They move the goalposts and try to discredit in a way that makes zero sense to me. And it's why, by the way, if you listen to this show often enough, I'm so big on accountability and receipts, and I'm always saying, like, before the draft, hey, go tell us right now in the YouTube live stream who would you love to have them draft, who would you not love to have them draft, and put it on record, put it on wax somewhere, so you can't change the goalposts on yourself. Right? We do our predictions. We make sure we timestamp that bad boy because I don't want to be able to change and say, well, that's not what I meant after. I want to have to raise my hand and say, no, I thought that team was going to give them more of a run than they did.
What's on Monday last week when we did Monday Sound Off?
Mm-hmm.
I read a bunch of people that were doing negative comments about Logan Stankoven and all that. All the people like, this guy's not a 2C. I've read a whole bunch of those, and I said, phone lines are open. You are welcome to come apologize. And shout out to Tom, who actually did call in and apologize.
Thank you, Tom. Tom is not a member of the national media. I know
He's
that
not.
much. If he called in and had accountability and said, hey, I got that one wrong, not a member of the national media. National media would have called in and said, you missed the second part where I was obviously complimenting Logan Stankoven. It's crazy. Canes are up 6-0. This postseason, 6 wins, 0 losses. They're up 2-0 on the Flyers. They won 4-0 over Ottawa. Can't change that. No moving of the goalpost there. That's facts. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We do have the starting five coming up, but before that, Dennis has something he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here real quick for my friends over at Law Tigers. We always talk about in sports how details matter. Details are so important. Well, there's a detail out there that I want to make sure that just regular people that are riders that are just driving in their cars that might not understand this about people that ride motorcycles. I had a question this asked to me as a motorcycle rider about this the other day. Say, hey, why don't motorcycles ever just ride down the center of the lane? Why are you always slightly to the left or slightly to the right? And I explained it in the sense of, well, you want to ride down in the same line as the tires of the vehicle in front of you. Not directly behind the vehicle, but in the same line as the tires. Because in the middle of the road, if you ever pull up to a stop sign or a stoplight, you see all those splotches in the middle of the road. Well, that's oil and fluids that drip down from the engines of cars. Well, that's the stuff you don't want to get on your tires as a motorcycle rider. So that's what you're trying to avoid. So if people always wonder why our motorcycle is either in the left part of a lane or right side part of a lane, well, that's the reason why. You want to be safe when you're out there on the road. It's a small detail in order to make yourself safe out there on the road. And do everything you can to be safe on the road. And as a motorcycle rider, unfortunately, accidents can happen. And that's why you got to give Law Tigers a call at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you contact the insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, has the starting five next, right here.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
All of my life, all I heard from Mets fans were, oh, you Yankees fans, all you do is buy championships. If we had as much money as you, we'd have 27 just like you guys. The New York Mets have the highest cash payroll of any team in baseball. $360 million this year.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company. Your comfort is our business.
Life's great stories are built on yes and. Yes to the big game and the private suite. Yes to the beach and sailing offshore. Yes to traveling the country and exploring new ones. With the new Millionaire for Life from the North Carolina Education Lottery, you can say yes to $1 million now and every year for a lifetime. Millionaire for Life. Winning is just the beginning. Drawing 7 days a week. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 8.47. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
When sleep isn't working, everything feels harder. Your health, your patience, your focus, even your relationships. I'm Megan Giggling with Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Too often, people are told to wait months or even years just to talk to a sleep specialist. But untreated sleep problems don't wait. At Parkway, care begins within weeks with home sleep studies and fast, coordinated support so people can move forward instead of staying stuck. Better sleep changes everything.
Parkway Sleep, your fastest path to better sleep. Start today at parkwaysleep.com. Sound sleep, sound health.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Studio, WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. A quiet, comfortable night is ahead with lows dipping into the lower 60s. There could be a little bit of rain Wednesday morning, then pretty dry during the day with a high of 83. Better rain chances return Wednesday night into Thursday morning with the potential for storms.
5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 356 points at the closing bell to 49,298. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you contact the insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is 5 o'clock here on The Drive, and that means it is time for the starting five. So let's jump into it, starting, as we always do, with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There are some pretty big decisions that have to be made in the, I guess, just like professional or higher professional basketball world, college or NBA. So if you still have eligibility left in college basketball, you can declare for the NBA draft, and then you can go through the process, right? You can go through the NBA Combine, you can get feedback, and you can still withdraw your name and go back to college. The irony is it used to be once you signed with an agent, you were gone, right? So it was always like, I will be declaring for the draft and signing with an agent. And once you said that, it was see ya. But now, like, you have agents when you're in college. So I guess you're going to go into the draft and we'll see if you want to come back. And because of that, there are these decisions that have to be made. And there's a couple really important ones locally. There's starting to be, I would just say, some cautious concern about Matt Abel, a player who transferred from NC State to UNC, and John Blackwell, a player that transferred from Wisconsin to Duke. And when I say they transferred to, that just means they committed, right? Because they're obviously, their name is in the NBA draft, they're going to be at the NBA Combine, and they're exploring that world. Now, here's the reason why I say cautious concern. Because it does make sense to just go through the process with every intention of going back to school, right? I just want to, when I do go to the NBA, I want to be familiar with it. I want to know. It's the same thing that, like, mentors tell kids coming out of college, right? Take every interview you can, even if it's not a job you want. It's good interview experience, right? So it's, go to the Combine, talk to people, get the feedback, bring all that back. You'll be a better basketball player when you get back to college. And I think a lot of guys start that way. But what happens if you like what they say in the interview? Right? I don't have any anticipation of taking this job. I'm just taking the interview for the practice. I don't know. At the end of the interview, they start talking about corner offices and 401ks, and they start talking about more money than you had ever seen. So you know what? This interview may not have just been for practice. That happens occasionally. No better example than Cedric Coward last year. Cedric Coward, I think he had played like 6 games for Washington State the year before. But he was a tall shooter, good athletic profile, went in the portal, committed to Duke, but kept his name in the NBA draft pool. Goes to the NBA Combine, shoots the absolute lights out at the Combine. He's a lottery pick. Portland Trailblazers. Stays in the draft, never plays for Duke. That's why when Duke talks about the brotherhood, I call him a cousin. He committed, but he wasn't really part of the immediate family. He's like an in-law or something like that. That's at risk of happening. So if Matt Abel goes and he lights it up, you may be like, yeah, but he's a young guy. He needs to play. It's like, yeah, well, Coward never played in a true blue blood, big college basketball power team. No, he just played really well at the Combine and got drafted high. It becomes a little bit more concerning. And then you may say, well, what do you expect him to do? Well, how about this? Guess who withdrew from the 2026 NBA draft and will not be attending the Combine this year? Juke Harris, who had transferred from Wake Forest and committed to Tennessee. And then within a day or two of committing to Tennessee, he has withdrawn from the NBA draft, and he's going to Tennessee. Think that there was some kind of stipulation in that NIL money that said you will not go to the Combine and find out how good you are. it's possible, right? So as long as you're a player for your favorite team who is very important to that favorite team is still in the draft pool, I'd be cautiously concerned. I wouldn't be panicking, but I'd be a little worried. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 all together.
So the NHL playoffs are going on. The Canes are up 2-0, second round over Philly. We'll get to that. You know what else is going on, Dennis?
What's that?
Draft lottery.
Oh, yeah, that's tonight.
Yeah. I don't know why. This is like the draft nerd stuff in me. The lottery, I mean, do you know what you could do? You could just wait till it's over and look at a list. But that electricity of them calling out names, it gets me every single time. The NHL draft lottery is probably a little less juiced than the NBA draft lottery for the most part because a lot of these guys will take a while to actually become impact players and be big parts of their team. But every year there's a couple. There's a few that can make that jump and become immediate difference makers. And this year, Vancouver has the best chance at the number 1 pick.
Oh, look at them. They're in need of some hope out there.
18.5% chances.
I will say this about the NHL compared to the NBA. The NHL, you actually see the process play out. You actually, all right, we're doing it right here. Okay, this is numbers, whatever pulled. Okay, these are the scenarios. Who's going to get this? So you actually see it as opposed to the NBA. It's like, oh, yeah, it just happened to be the Knicks. What?
It's a miss because I think every year they let a handful of reporters watch the NBA draft process, their lottery process. It's a miss to not just let everybody watch.
Yeah, I know.
It would be more entertaining. But either way, the NHL, you could see some teams glow up because they're all the way down to like the Capitals. Out of 1,000 possibilities of like the lottery ball combinations, they have 5.5% of getting the number 1. But you could have a team that's like, for lack of a better term, not that bad. Get a pretty good player added to their roster, right? The St. Louis Blues have the 15th best chances. It's from Detroit, but it's 0.5%. If there's some things going on there. You want to know what's crazy? Florida Panthers have the 6th or 8th best odds, 6%. If that happens, we riot, right?
Well, I think I do know that their first round pick is like top 5 protected or top 10 protected. So depending on where that falls, that actually goes to Chicago as part of the Seth Jones trade, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so it's still 6%. If they get the number 1 pick, we riot.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Okay, we ride at dawn. Then there is also the more important stuff, the stuff that the Canes have to worry about, which is the actual playoffs, not the lottery for the future. Vegas got the win over Anaheim last night. Horrendous jersey matchup. What do you take away from the 3-1 victory for Kansas? Goodness, Vegas.
To me, these are two not very good teams as a whole. I like Vegas's talent overall. Obviously, things have been different since they decided to hire John Tortorella before the playoffs started to be their head coach. But to me, I like their talent. I still don't think they're that good of a team. And I don't know if Carter Hart's the answer and goal that's going to give you a long cup run that they're hoping to have.
Was Carlson in his first game the one that made the bananas pass and they just elected not to score? I saw
Carlson? Yeah, I think so.
Saw a highlight pass across my feed of him doing everything to give his guy a chance, and he just went, no, I'll pass it. There was some of that going on last night, too. Tonight, what game is tonight? Let me make sure I get this all correct. There is Tuesday night, Minnesota, Colorado.
Yep.
Goodness.
Should have Buffalo and Montreal tonight.
I believe that's tomorrow. And I'm looking right at the schedule. So
we are?
that's tomorrow. Colorado leads the series 1-0.
Oh, that is tomorrow. That's dumb. They should play today.
Does Minnesota and Quinn Hughes have it in them to even the series?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
In Colorado?
Absolutely. I think that series is going at least 6. I want 7 out of that one.
Colorado was like everybody's pick to win the West at the beginning of the postseason. Minnesota has converted some. There's quite a few. Like, actually, you know what? Minnesota, they got some things going well. That series should be really fun to watch as like a completely neutral bystander on the other side of the country.
Yeah, they keep putting up beer league hockey numbers in that.
Yeah, there's that too. They're going to score 9 goals. I don't know if it's exciting or a tragedy, but it's something. That is what number is that? That was number 4. Let's get to number 3.
Jeff. Jalen Brunson had 35 points through 3 quarters. It's still going to be the biggest home playoff win in Knicks history, and they take game 1 of this Eastern Conference second-round series. The Knicks blister the Philadelphia 76ers, 137-98 the final score.
So the NBA playoffs, there were 2 games last night. There's 2 tonight, and I'm so glad I have the opportunity to sit here and talk about 3 of them with you. The Minnesota Timberwolves beat the Spurs, but Victor Wembanyama, playoff record, 12 blocks.
He's an alien.
That's what they say. His logo is a little alien head, right? He is an alien. He is 7'4" and athletic, and that doesn't happen often, but the Timberwolves won. So the alien wasn't able to best the humans. And then tonight, we start up a couple series. Got Cleveland, Detroit, and LeBron tries to put on the cape and as a dramatic underdog tries to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. And as far as I'm concerned, those are the only 3 games that played last night or tonight in the NBA.
That's okay. The Sixers didn't play last night either.
Yeah, they might as well not have. That's a rough night for Philly sports fans.
They can drink their tears.
I'm lucky I'm just a Sixers fan. I'm not a Flyers fan at all. Because then, a blowout, you get that emotion's done early, right? You're just didn't show up to play today. Let's get ready for game 2. Flyers fans were probably like, oh, thank goodness that we have the Flyers playing well, because the Sixers, I don't want to watch that. So they focus on the Flyers and then just get their hearts ripped out in overtime. That's a more brutal way to look at it.
It's been a rough go for Philly sports fans.
Yeah.
I mean, the Sixers get blown out last night. Their hockey team's down 2-0. They're trying to fire their football coach and their quarterback, Nick Sirianni, and they already fired their manager of the Phillies because the Phillies stink. So, yeah, it's rough life being a Philly sports fan. They only got a couple Super Bowls in the last decade.
Yeah, but there's cap gymnastics there that make them a bit fraudulent. I don't know. I'm just trying to be mean now.
That's fair.
Wait till those void year money comes down.
I just don't want batteries thrown at me.
Who would win in a fight, Stormy or Gritty? I think we asked the fans that on our social media pages.
Be on the lookout for that tomorrow.
Okay. Ooh, did I just let the cat out of the bag?
That's okay.
Well, answer it.
Oh, Stormy.
Yeah, easy. I think so too. Like a horse kick, right?
Yeah. I don't even know what Gritty is. You know what Gritty looks like? Like the hand mitt that I use to wash my motorcycle. That's what Gritty looks like.
Like the microfiber shag carpet looking thing.
Yes, that's what he looks like.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the 2 of us. Let's do that hockey.
So we've been talking a lot about this Carolina Hurricanes Game 2 victory over Philadelphia last night. They were down 2-0. They came back. They forced overtime. Taylor Hall scores it. That's the nuts and bolts of it. For the context, we have our very own Adam Gold from here at 99.9 The Fan giving you 2 minutes of gold.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I got 2 minutes for 3 players and 3 huge plays that helped Carolina take a 2-0 lead in their series with the Philadelphia Flyers. Heading back up to Philly, and it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers. They will help you get good rest faster and with the care you deserve. Look, we could talk about Nick Ehlers getting on the scoreboard for the first time, or Seth Jarvis and a big game-tying goal in the third period. but there are 3 players that really made the difference in Carolina's 3-2 overtime win. And we're going to start in net with Frederick Anderson. 2-1 score right here, and it should have been 3-1 Philly, but for Anderson.
Now Senek cross, and Anderson got it clubbed to it. Still is it Frederick Anderson. Oh, what an athletic save. Lunging with the glove, and he'll hang on.
That's Anderson's best save of the series. Might have gotten some help from the post, I'm not sure. Moving with purpose from right to left.
Incredible save. Glove, pad, post, out. Carolina stays just 1 goal down. Then, after Jarvis does his magic and gets Carolina even, we are in overtime, and Keandre Miller doing work.
Philadelphia in the slot. That shot's deflected away. Miller got a piece, lost his stick. Philly keeping it in. 3 Flyers in front of the net. They can't connect on a pass. Aho will get to it and find a seam and clear it.
What more can Keandre Miller do? Game-saving block. We play on.
I cannot stress enough how good Miller's playoff has been. He has been spectacular throughout. He's also got a bunch of assists as well. And all that did was give Taylor Hall a chance to be a hero.
Canes with a chance, drifting in, getting a shot free is Hall. Still loose, they score! They score! It's over! Carolina, Taylor Hall wins it in overtime!
On this particular play, Sean Walker does a lot of heavy lifting. He carries the puck in, finds Hall, and then goes right to the front of the net to create more space for Hall. Jackson Blake keeps the puck alive, and Hall taps it in. And there you go. Hurricanes lead 2-0. They didn't play great, but you know what? They won the game, and they are 2 wins away from the 3rd round of the playoffs. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health. I need sound sleep after another overtime game. We got to stop that. Visit parkwaysleep.com.
Thank you very much to Adam Gold for 2 minutes of gold, all about the win last night for the Canes. Speaking of the win last night for the Canes, I have a feeling that may be our number 1.
The one!
Canes with a chance, drifting in, getting a shot free is Hall. Still loose, they score! They score! It's over! Carolina, Taylor Hall wins it in overtime! Let's talk about the win. There's a few things. So here's how we're going to do it, everybody, just to let you know. I went through this morning all the things I wanted to talk about last night's Carolina Hurricanes game, and I have them all kind of bullet pointed in front of me. I have a few more things that I would consider very positive, just things that I want to highlight, things that did well. I have not been, and I think it's because I'm caught up in the 6-0 and the 2-0 and the lead and the overtime win. I've been reluctant to bring up some of the things that last night was not a perfect game by the Canes by any stretch. So at 5:45, just on the way out, I'm going to hit you with the, hey, these things weren't greats. But for right now, I'm going to finish up the positives. Do you know what is a name that I have not said enough in a positive sense today? Keandre Miller.
Oh, okay. It was like a name like 5 guys, but yeah, go on.
Keandre Miller and ipso facto Sean Walker.
Yeah.
They do so much of, it's a cliche in other sports to say they're always providing the hockey assist. I don't know what you do in hockey to talk about it, but it's like the play before the play is made. It's the deflection that prevents the goal. Boom. The goal on the other side, or it's the board battle. You're first there, you get the puck, and it's leaked out, and then boom, a goal is scored. But those two have done the hockey assist, the play before the play, so often, and last night was a really, really good example of it. And Keandre Miller, he is like a funhouse mirror to me because he appears out of position, and I go like, oh, and then his wingspan is so gigantic that he's not actually out of position. He can just, go gadget arms and poke check, and it's there. I even noticed it Philly didn't do a ton of it last night, but maybe it's just because the refs were calling penalties on every single play. But I even noticed it when there's like the scrums and everybody's just kind of holding each other up. Keandre Miller's wingspan, he holds them by like the opening of their neck in their sweater.
Yeah.
And he's just keeps his arm extended, and then he doesn't even pay attention to him. He's looking around. He's like, checking the scoreboard, doing whatever, because he knows, like, if my arm is extended, you can't. It's like when the big brother puts his hand on the forehead of the little brother and they're swinging in just air. Like, he's just a bigger dude, and it gives him, I think it messes with the opponent because they think they're far enough away to avoid trouble, and they're not. And then, he's giving up his body just like every Kane is, blocking shots. He had the block where his stick broke yesterday. He's just making plays. And you know what? I was going to go Sean Walker here, but Dennis, I said Sean Walker, and you got so excited. Do you want to wax poetic about Walker a little bit?
We don't have enough time for that. But the thing about Sean Walker is that I think he really has a complete game in the sense of he plays great positionally on defense. Mm-hmm. He brings physicality. He can transition the puck up the ice. He's a great puck mover, and he can create scoring chances as well. I actually thought he had scored or just almost scored there in overtime. He took a puck to the net down the left wing, tried to go near side, and Vladar made a really, really good save. And I thought, man, I actually thought he had the game winner right there because I thought maybe he was going to squeak through. And then sure enough, he makes a good play in transition on the Taylor Hall game winner. I mean, he really is a complete player. I mean, he's not, this is again, I say with all due respect, he's not Cale Makar, but no one is. He's not Quinn Hughes, no one is. But he really is a complete, well-rounded player that he's solid and reliable. And again, he has a snarl to his game as well.
It's some of that like star in your role.
Yeah.
Like you might not be a star, but you can be a star in your role.
Yes, he's a top 4 defenseman that you can rely upon in any situation. If you want to add him to your power play, you can bring that too. Mm-hmm. He obviously can kill penalties. 5-on-5, he's great as well. He's just a damn good hockey player.
Let's talk about the Seth Jarvis game yesterday. Because if Seth Jarvis becomes, the heightened version of himself that we're used to seeing, that can change the way the rest of this postseason goes for Carolina in a positive way. I jokingly referenced this off air earlier that Seth Jarvis is like a piece of electronics, and this is back when electronics had to be plugged in all the time. You didn't have like a charger and then you took them with you. If anything was ever not working or if it was a little off, right? If your stereo had a weird hum, if it was skipping a lot, right? You would just unplug it and plug it back in, right? Or you would, if it were like an N64 cartridge, you'd take it out, you'd blow the dust off, and you'd put it back in. I think the version of that for Seth Jarvis is put him next to Jordan Staal. Right? When they start shifting up or shuffling up the lines and he's next to Jordan Staal, it's just unplugging Jarvis and plugging him right back in. And you get him back to like factory settings. And it was a heck of a time to do it last night in a game like that, but it worked. I still wouldn't be surprised if there's something that we learn right after the season that he's been dealing with physically. That's just a hunch. There's no reporting there. But I mean, that was a really good goal. Like, that was a really good goal at a really, really needed time. And it came after the shuffle, right? You just had to unplug it, plug it back in. Oh, look, it's working. The hum is gone. Like, he's back to being himself. And then the ripple effects of that. And I say this understanding that, like, the fans love all the players. They really love Seth Jarvis. When that goal scored, there was a volume level, like they turned it up to 11. When he went down the high five line and got his high fives, it went up to 12. It felt like he had a moment of relief and everybody else had a moment of like, we've been waiting so long to cheer for a Seth Jarvis goal. Thank you. And they went crazy. And then, it was one of those moments that you might not want to say out loud if you're superstitious, but the moment Seth Jarvis scored, it was like, oh, we're winning this game. There it is. He tied it up in the third. I don't know how long it's going to take us, but we're winning this game. Like, that's what you felt from the fans. and it was just a really good moment. And credit to Rod Brindamore, who then credited his assistant coach, Jeff Daniels, for making that change up front that led to the game-tying goal. Brindamore said Daniels told him it's time. It's a good rule that if someone walks up to you and says it's time, and they don't have to tell you what it's time for, yep, it's time, right? Somebody walks up to you like, I don't know, maybe you've been trying to make it as a singer and you're not that good, but they're like, no, we're going to encourage them. Go ahead and do it. And they walk up and say it's time when you're like, what, to quit singing? They didn't have to tell you? Yeah, it's time. If your assistant coach walks up, says it's time, and you go, what, to bench so-and-so? Yep, that's the time. To shuffle lines? Yep. If I don't have to tell you, you know what it is. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This was unintentional, but worked perfectly. Bailey's Fine Jewelry. It's time. To buy your dream watch? It's time. You're sitting there going, to get my mom a present for Mother's Day? It's time. To get my wife a present for Mother's Day? It's time. To sell that watch that you don't wear as much as you used to, but you loved it so much, but you want to go ahead and get a new one, something that's more on your wish list now, that more fits your taste now. That's all what I was talking about. Fox and Bailey, let's talk about the watch buying back. Bailey's is actively buying luxury timepieces. Rolex, Cartier, Panerai, Hublot, Omega, Breitling, Tudor, Patek, Audemars Piguet. The reason why I'm emphasizing that is our tastes change, right? You might have had a watch that you loved when you got it and you wore it for years and it was perfect for you, but your tastes have changed. You're ready for a different part of life. You're living a different life. You want something more active. You want something more dressy. Bailey's will buy back or buy those luxury timepieces, and then, you got the money, right? You just got the cash from your luxury timepiece, and you have the world at your fingertips inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry. So if you're looking to sell or consign a watch, bring it into the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, located at their Village District location, the Bailey's Fine Jewelry in the Village District in Raleigh. You can speak to one of their talented watch experts, take you through the whole process. To learn more, you can also go to baileybox.com. And while you're there, again, like I said, check out the Mother's Day sale, or the big sale, as they call it. Up to 60% off select fine jewelry to go ahead and get a special someone in your life that very, very special gift. Speaking of gifts, it is time for the numbers game, and we need a couple of contestants who will compete for a $25 gift card to Autobell Car Wash. So if you want to play the numbers game, you want to win the car wash gift card, you have to call in now. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. We need two contestants because the numbers game is coming up next.
The Adam Gold Show.
When you look at all the Stanley Cup favorites, Carolina is definitely one of them, and they have almost every element you need. They can score like crazy, and they do it with depth. They do it with speed. They're not just a dump-and-chase forechecking team like they've been in the past. They're as good off the rush as almost anybody in the league. The defense, pretty good since the Olympic break, but it'll get better. Can the goaltending hold up?
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Jungle Cash Word Scratch-Offs and Digital Instance games are here.
2 ways to play.
Yeah. Play Scratch-Offs like you do.
Scratch it.
Play Digital Instance on your phone.
2 ways to win.
Right. 2 ways to find letters and complete words. 2 ways to win up to $150,000.
That's a lot of crackers.
Jungle Cash Word from the North Carolina Education Lottery. 2 ways to play, 2 ways to win instantly. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.79 to 3.90. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Join us at Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, our biggest trade event of the year, May 14th through the 17th. Trade in your RV and get the highest value guaranteed. Then upgrade for less with new RVs starting as low as $94 a month. Plus, take 25% off select maintenance services. Save up to 40% on camp-ready must-haves. And enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Red, White, and New Trade event at your local Camping World, May 14th through the 17th. We'll see you there.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. But for the second time in the last week or so, we've got another slot to fill. One of the lines opened up. So we have Michael in Raleigh, and he is waiting for his competitor. Call in right now, and you can be thrown right into the fire and potentially win yourself a $25 gift card to get your car squeaky clean at Autobell Car Wash. The number to call is 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Call in quickly. Right now. Don't wait. Unless you have to, you're driving or something and it's dangerous. But talk to your smartphone if you can just say it out loud. You need to call 919-860-5326. Dennis already picked up the receiver, so you may have missed your shot. I did tell you to go quick. So we have Michael in Raleigh, and he will be going up against. Oh wait, could be a comeback contestant. I'm not sure what's going on in there. Never mind. We have Adam in Holly Springs, who will be the worthy adversary for Michael in Raleigh. We'll start with Michael in Raleigh. We'll bring each of them onto the show, ask the same question. Dennis will pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first. Michael in Raleigh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Perfect. The question for today is, I don't know why this popped into my head, but what's your dream car? This has popped in, so could be anything on four wheels with a motor. What is your dream car?
Honestly, I'm going to have to go with a Corvette Stingray Coupe.
Corvette Stingray Coupe. Dennis, any follow-ups?
What color?
I'd probably just go with a black, maybe just all black, maybe matte black.
All right, you are locked in. Corvette Stingray Coupe, black, maybe matte black. We go to Adam in Holly Springs. Adam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, perfect. Same question to you. What is your dream car? Four wheels and a motor, and you can have anything out there. What do you want?
I was going to say Corvette as well. My dad had a 1979 Corvette Stingray T-top convertible with an 8-track in it. That was my favorite car as well. So,
all right,
it's the battle of the Corvettes.
There you go. I think I got all that down. Dennis, are we rolling with Michael, who went with the Corvette Stingray Coupe, black matte, or Adam in Holly Springs, who went with it just like his dad, just like Pops, a Corvette from 1979 Stingray convertible T-top?
With the 8-track.
With the 8-track.
The details of this. I got a year, not just a make and a model, but I got a year. I got the details of the T-top, the 8-track in there as well. My first ever vehicle actually was a T-top as well. I got to go Adam in Holly Springs, simply because of the T-top. I know it's the same vehicle, but the T-top.
That's what spoke to you. All right.
Classic.
So Adam in Holly Springs gets to go first. Michael, don't worry. You will have your chance. Just have to sit on hold for a second or two. All right, so Adam gets to go first. Adam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. So the categories for you to choose from are NFL players, Carolina Panthers only, MLB players that have won the Cy Young Award since 2006, NBA players whose teams are still playing in the playoffs, or NHL Hurricanes only.
Let's go with NBA teams who are still playing in the playoffs.
Okay, so I'll give you the player and the team. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. You have one pass if you need it. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No.
All right, perfect. Your time will start when you hear the horn. LeBron James, Los Angeles Lakers.
23.
Correct. Jalen Williams, Oklahoma City Thunder.
2.
Incorrect. Dante DiVincenzo, Minnesota Timberwolves.
11.
Incorrect. Jalen Williams, Oklahoma City Thunder.
Pass.
Julian Champagnie, San Antonio Spurs.
8.
Incorrect. Dante DiVincenzo, Minnesota Timberwolves.
50.
Incorrect. Jalen Williams, Oklahoma City Thunder.
12.
Incorrect. You said 8 for Champagnie. We needed 8 for Jalen Williams. Dante DiVincenzo with the Timberwolves wears 0, but he's played for a bunch of spots. So that one's tough to track. And Champagnie with the Spurs, number 30. I will tell you a story about Champagnie that is very frustrating for me later on. In the meantime, though, we have to go to our next contestant, which, by the way, what did he get there? Got 1. So Adam is leader in the clubhouse with 1. We now go to Michael and Raleigh. Michael, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Perfect. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players, Carolina Panthers only, Major League Baseball players that have won the Cy Young Award since 2006, or Hurricanes only. That's an NHL category.
I'm going to go with Hurricanes only.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. I will say the team in this category, even though we know it, just keep it fair timing-wise with the other category. And you need at least 2 for the win. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Taylor Hall, Carolina Hurricanes.
71.
Correct. Pyotr Kochetkov, Carolina Hurricanes.
52.
Correct. Tim Gleason, Carolina Hurricanes.
6.
Correct. Josef Vasicek, Carolina Hurricanes.
Ooh. Pass.
Tomas Kirka, Carolina Hurricanes.
25.
Incorrect. Josef Vasicek, Carolina Hurricanes.
41.
Incorrect. Tomas Kirka, Carolina Hurricanes. Vasicek threw off all of your rhythm. You were in a groove, and that just was a pebble in the shoe. But you got 3. That's all you needed for the win, so congratulations on that one. There's a lot if you're playing at home I have to go through here. So he got Taylor Hall with 71. For Kochetkov, we would have accepted 52 or 90. For Gleason, we would have accepted 6, 8, or 48. Or 42. Let me get that right. Vasicek, 63. And Kirka, 37. That's what we were looking for. But like we said, 3 is plenty for the win, so congratulations, Michael. All right, stay on the line. Dennis will grab the info he needs to make sure you get your prize, which is the Autobell Car Wash gift card. Now, I promised a story about Julian Champagnie. This is a bitter, bitter Sixers fan story, but I think you all will enjoy it. Do you remember dunking legend from Gate City? He won the NBA dunk contest 3 times. Mac McClung. So Mac McClung, I believe, was on the Spurs. I believe that's who this trade was for. Mac McClung was in the Spurs system, and the Sixers, for whatever reason, wanted him for the dunk contest. So they made a trade in which they acquired Mac McClung so they could put him in the dunk contest. And at the time, it felt like they were giving up a bunch of has-beens, nobodies, right? Just moving nonsense because they were just acquiring a guy for a dunk contest. It turns out one of those assets was Julian Champagnie. And Julian Champagnie is now a player that plays minutes for a playoff team in the San Antonio Spurs. He started 68 games this year and averaged 11 points per game. He was traded by the Sixers as a gimmick. They gave him up for nothing to have a guy in a dunk contest. And now he's making him look real foolish for doing that. So congratulations to Julian Champagnie for making somebody that doubted you, meaning the Sixers franchise, look very foolish. Just for a guy to be in the dunk contest. What are we doing here, Sixers? Is that piling on? Sixers got smoked last night. I can say it. I'm a fan. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. Search for it. Subscribe. Pick your favorite video, pass it around to all of your friends, share it, tell them to subscribe, join the community. We want, and by the way, comment on those videos as well. A few times a week, we do grab those comments, we bring them on air, we read them, we react, we let you be a part of the conversation. It is to encourage you to join those communities and get into some back and forths and voice your opinions. So please do so. Our YouTube comments are there to be utilized by listeners and the consumers of that content. So 99.9 The Fan on YouTube, subscribe, tell your friends, comment. Please. With that being said, I want to go back to the things that I don't think went super great for the Canes, even in a win last night. We'll do that after we hear from Dennis. Dennis, what do you got for us?
That's right. Dennis Cox here. Real quick for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, those credit card, those interest rates, they're now over 29%. And most people, they're only making minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. But here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, more, even get that money for that home improvement project. One client recently just got $100,000 approved, and they saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows, so act now. Go to loanpronto.com, see how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Give them a call at 919-381-1760 or just visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, will be back with more insight and, yes, maybe the less fun stuff, the stuff that needs to be better from the Canes. Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
The Carolina Panthers continue their evolution now 3 years into this front office, and there's promise. What started year one as a refresh turned into a rebuild, and with the latest draft, we see reinforcement. The fifth-year option on Bryce Young, now icing. It's a different mantra from the let's develop dogs mentality. Now it seems, let the dogs hunt.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
This is the sound of Claire, cooking dinner at home. And that's the sound of a fraud alert from Wells Fargo, flagging a charge for a pricey restaurant in Paris. Considering Claire isn't in Paris right now, that seemed odd to the bank and to Claire. 2 taps later, Claire says nope to the charge, and Wells Fargo is on the case. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and nearly 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. Left untreated, these veins can cause tired, heavy legs, swelling, burning, cramping, aching, even restless leg syndrome. In some cases, it can lead to serious health risks like blood clots. USA Vein Clinics offers minimally invasive treatments that take as little as 15 minutes, covered by most insurances. Call 984-207-6220 and schedule your appointment today. Don't wait. Call 984-207-6220 for free information today. Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 984-207-6220 for fast, easy, and affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinics treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 984-207-6220.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Because you guys do everything for the exterior of your home, these things can add up. And there are a lot of people who think, I can't afford this. How can the Aluminum Company make it easier?
Yeah, well, Adam, we have plans that are 12 months, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 12 months, which make it super affordable for people to do anything on their home, whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, gutters, any kind of exterior home improvement. The Aluminum Company has financing plans that can fit in your budget and make it easy.
So wait a second. I can get everything done,
no interest, and no payments for 12 months?
Yeah, and you get a lifetime warranty once the project's done.
I get a lifetime warranty once the project is done.
Yes, sir.
What about my down payment?
No down payment, no
What?
deposit.
No down payment, no deposit.
No payment until the project's done.
No payment till the project's done.
Exactly.
Where do I sign up? Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
He'll move it. 9 seconds left on the power play. Blake with it. Sent across. They score! A power play goal! And Nikolai Ehlers gets on the board. And the Canes cut the lead in half. It's a 2-1 game in Carolina.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So the best part about the Carolina Hurricanes win last night, the 2-0 deficit, the come from behind, the overtime win, is exactly that. They didn't have their best game, and they won. They were down 2-0. They had to battle back. It wasn't always pretty. But you can't say that without acknowledging that some things didn't go perfect, right? Or else we'd be saying they did have their A game. They won. They dominated. So, as fun as it is to just talk about the good, I think we need to address some of the bad. 8 penalties? 8? 3 by Andrei Svechnikov himself. There's that's got to stop. And I'm not here to say like every call is good, every call is bad, or they were, maybe they were calling it tighter. I will say it seemed like the refs were having a bit of a power trip in the face-off circle. There was some real like, I'm just going to hold the puck forever and wait for one of you to do something I don't like, so I can yell at you because nobody picked me in middle school. That's what it felt like. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know the rest.
I don't know. Carolina won majority of the face-off, so
you're darn right.
Yeah. There's that.
Maybe that's it. They were just kicking out all of Philly's face-off guys.
So if anything, we should be.
And
yeah,
you know
good
what?
job.
Well played.
Well done.
Well played.
I mean, the thing about a couple of those penalties is just puck over the glass, delay a game.
Yes.
That's 100% in your control.
Too many men on the ice.
That's 100% in your control. Svetch, keep your stick down.
Exactly.
Keep your stick down.
And what it does is it ruins rhythms and momentums, and it ruins grooves, and it makes the game feel real herky-jerky. So I thought this was funny. They've played 2 overtime games. The first overtime game, which went into 2 overtimes, the teams combined for 4 power play opportunities. Last night, game only went to 1 overtime. What was it? 14 power play opportunities and a 4-on-4? That's insane. Same sport, but just barely. Like that's insane. So, and this is just a side note. I don't like. We all have things that we call players, meaning like the you might call them Aho, or you might call them Fishy, or you like. I call Svetch when I'm like yelling at my TV, Svetch, right? That's what rolls off the tongue for me. Adam Gold, who I sat next to watching the game, says Andre. So there's nothing good or bad. It's not right or wrong, right? It's just what he's. Andre was making some plays and he was going Andre, and it sounded to me like you were hearing a kid's middle name or something, like ooh, he's in trouble, just because it was a different name than I'm used to calling him. When my name's Tim, but if I get a Timothy, it's like, that's different, right? So Svetch being called Andre is like, whoa. And there were a lot of them, right? So that's got to be cleaned up. For better or worse, that's got to be cleaned up.
By the way, speaking of the penalties and throwing rhythm off, for all intents and purposes, 79 minutes of hockey was played yesterday. I know it's technically like 78 minutes and 52 seconds or 54 seconds, whatever it was. Essentially 79 minutes. Of those 79 minutes, 26 and a half of them were spent at either power play, penalty kill, or 4-on-4.
I mean, that's darn near half a game.
Yeah.
So that's got to be cleaned up. And that's, Philly's probably saying the same thing, but that's got to be cleaned up. Another thing that stood out, and this is, it's not hidden, but it stood out, like, Dennis, you call the fourth line goal.
I felt so good about it last night, too.
They had 10 grade A chances. Robinson himself, Jankowski was set up a few times.
Mm-hmm.
We can't sit around and talk about how great the fourth line is and how skilled the fourth line is and how so many other teams are just trying to get through shifts with their fourth line. But the Canes, they're trying to score goals. They got guys that can do it. They've got this, they've got that. And then you just get all of those opportunities and come up zippy.
I was telling you during the game, I said, like, they're going to get one.
A lot of opportunities. Robinson had a lot of opportunities.
He had 6 shots on goal.
And a couple of them should count as 2 shots on goal.
Yeah.
Which is, it's glass half full, glass half empty, right? They're creating chances. They're in the right position. They're in rhythm. They're showing chemistry, but they got to find the back of the net on a couple of those.
One.
It completely would change the game. And a few of them are at pretty darn important parts of the game throughout. They have to find a way. Carrier did have the 12 hits in 12 minutes on the ice, which is
insane.
A hit per minute is you're doing something there. But the fourth line just, you had a chance to be goal scorers, and you're not going to get as many of those as some of the other lines, and you got to take advantage of them when you get them. And that was a game where they came in bunches for you, and it didn't click.
They're due.
We can do it again in game 3.
Yeah, I might.
On the road, fourth line lights them up.
Let's go.
It would be like hockey gods karmic justice if they get like 2 good looks, 2 goals. After having one where they had like 8 good looks, no goals, 1 good look, goal. Like that would be the way it goes. For some reason, the second period felt very, very labored to me yesterday. It felt like everything was tough. If it were a sport where they weren't on ice, I would say it felt like they were playing in mud. Right? It was tough. And again, part of the good part of the game is that they fought through it and they found a way on the other side, and it didn't cost them, and they didn't give up goals while that was going on. But whatever was happening in that second period that made everything, like every pass was a little off and a little mishandled. Here's a cross-sport analogy. In football, if a quarterback throws a ball and there's 2 wide receivers in the same space, you just know something was wrong, right? Somebody ran a wrong route. Somebody read the defense incorrectly and went to the wrong adjustment. Something was wrong. There were a lot of plays like that where it was, I think it was in the second period, Chatfield had a full head of steam, and it looked like he was going to cross the blue line into the offensive zone. And for whatever reason, he kind of slammed on the brakes and turned, and it just automatically caused an offsides because everybody was timing it up for him to cross the line. It's just like weird little things like that just added up over and over and over again to make the second period very much just like a push. Like the best you could do is just tie it and move on to the next, which is what they did, and it worked. But that second period has to be improved upon, right? A team that's more in rhythm, a better team, whatever you want to call it, will take advantage of that in a more obvious way. And then one more stat I want to bring up, and I was unaware of this, and I should have double-checked it, but people were saying it on social media, so I'm going to assume it's true. The Flyers hadn't scored a goal in the first period this postseason, and then they get back-to-back goals in the way they did. I don't like when teams do what they aren't good at against me. You know what I mean? If there's a non-power hitter for average in baseball and he gets on base twice with hard hit singles, I'm cool. If he hits 3 home runs, I'm going, that shouldn't happen. Like, you should not be able to do the things that you aren't good at against me when I'm the Carolina Hurricanes, because the Carolina Hurricanes are talented in darn near every facet of the game. So I don't like that they let the Flyers get out to a fast start when pretty much this entire postseason they've been a slow starting team. I'm probably nitpicking here, but it just stood out to me when I learned that, and I don't like that. Dennis, anything stand out to you that needs to be better other than the kind of just run around the world I just did?
No, I mean, honestly, the passing was just off, and like the puck never seemed to sit flat. The timing wasn't there. Everything just was just
off kilter, to say the least.
I think if we want to be nitpicky, we could put, wasn't Aho's best game, but I don't worry about that guy. He'll be fine. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have Overdrive coming up next. We're going to talk more about the Canes, optimism side, winning side. And we'll be back tomorrow for more of The Drive. Until then, have a great night, everybody. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
All of my life, all I heard from Mets fans were, oh, you Yankees fans, all you do is buy championships. If we had as much money as you, we'd have 27 just like you guys. The New York Mets have the highest cash payroll of any team in baseball. $360 million this year.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company. Your comfort is our business.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%, and most people are only making the minimum payment, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. But here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit